Check 1, 2, 3. Here we are. Works. Excellent.
It's official, the HarbourCats are signing the best loyalty system YNS to make any local businesses that offer HarbourCats free cash back. Visit the merchant booth to get your free HarbourCats card and get cash back on your merch purchases now. Now the visiting team lineup brought to you by Wallace and Ryan. For the Bellingham Dolphins afternoon, leading off the shortstop. Number 14, Dustin Brashears, batting second, center field, number 36, Aaron Stutman. Batting third, number 29, Chris Beal. Batting cleanup, the designated hitter, number 3, Bronson Larson. Batting fifth, catcher, number 24, Matthew Reichenbach. Batting sixth, the second baseman, number 16, Jesse Hewitt. Batting seventh, the third baseman, number 38, Patrick Brown. Batting eighth, the left fielder, number 18, Luke Della Ferra. And batting ninth, the right fielder, number 15, AJ Brady. Starting pitcher this afternoon for the Dolphins, number 28, Tom Brady.
Yeah, I think what's up? One of our guys says
All right, fans, making his way onto the field. Please welcome Harvey, the Harvey.
You want to go up now? For the anthem?
Joined as always his sidekick, Kevin Trigger.
Go, boys! We don't even have bases. Jay-Z, we don't have any bases. Oh my gosh.
Oh no!
All right, fans, here's the starting lineup for your Victoria HarbourCats. Leading off, playing third base from Pepperdine University, number 25, Chase Lambert. Batting second, playing second base from Seattle University, number 14, Griffin Andrechuk. Batting third, the center fielder from UC Irvine, number 30, A.J. Alcantara. Batting cleanup, the left fielder, number 26 from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, number 26, Ben Polshuk. Batting fifth, the right fielder from UCLA, number 41, Jake Breeze. Batting sixth, the first baseman from Oregon State, number 20, Michael Greckler. Batting seventh, the shortstop, number 5 from UCLA, Scott Jarvis. Batting eighth, the designated hitter from Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, number 14, Nick Meyer. Batting ninth, the catcher from the University of Washington, number 33, Zach Bono. Starting pitcher for your HarbourCats from Cal State Fullerton, number 34, Henry Omada.
Nothing I ever had on my bucket list. We're a little bit behind. You guys are gonna be rock stars out there. Okay. How did you win the opportunity to do this? You look good. You just got picked. They looked pretty good. Well, these guys haven't even finished their...
Yeah, they have.
They have?
Yeah, let's go.
I have to go out there by myself? Not just yet, just wait. Bring the kids in.
No, they're doing play ball now.
I'll be
All right, guys, today we are pleased to have two special sponsors. This company, Local Transportation and Y-Way Airport Shuttle. Huge partners in the HarbourCats. To throw the first pitch today, and she's excited about this. Please welcome Tracy Zeisenberg.
Wait for me, guys. You gotta wait for me, guys. How you doing? I like your hat. I like your hat. Your hat is good. Okay, we won't take it off. Let's keep it on. Okay, this is it. Oh, from the sun.
So let's find a home for you.
Yeah, we had to break down our
That's a beauty. Great job, Tracy. Thank you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, will you please rise and move your hats to the singing of the national anthem, performed by the hardest working woman in baseball, Lori Hall. Not Wilson, Swanson.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose proud steps and bright stars through the perilous fight, all the ramparts we watched was so gallantly screaming, and the rocket's bright glare bursting in air came through the
Set between the defending West Coast League champion Bellingham Bells and the Victoria HarbourCats. Bellingham has already won this series, taking the first 2 games by just 1 run apiece, and now the HarbourCats trying to salvage their last game before the West Coast League All-Star break. My name is Mike Walker, pinch hitting this afternoon for Jay Longpre, and thanks for joining us here on HarbourCats.com and Shaw Television. The Victoria HarbourCats, 17-18 on the season, second in the West Division, just behind these Bellingham Bells wearing their colorful reds. They won 9 in a row in these reds just over the last couple of weeks, and they are back in the red with white trim this afternoon. And as they take the field, it's time to take a look at the starting lineups, brought to you by Wilson's Transportation, locally owned and operated since 1962 with over 90 vehicles to rent. We'll start with the defensive lineup for Victoria as they take the field in front of a nice-sized crowd on a Saturday afternoon here at Royal Athletic Park. Beginning with the right fielder, Jake Prees. In center is AJ Alcantara. The left fielder, Ben Polshuk. At first base, Michael Gretler. Griffin Anderchuk will start at second today. Scott Jarvis is at short. Chase Lambert will work the hot corner at third base. Behind home plate is Zach Bonneau. And on the mound for the finale of this 3-game set is Henry O'Mana. And the starting lineup as far as the offense goes for Bellingham in this one, Dustin Brashears will lead things off. He's the shortstop, followed by the center fielder Aaron Struisma. Batting third is the first baseman Chris Beal. The designated hitter is Bronson Larson. He's in the cleanup spot today. The catcher, Andrew Reichenbach, he will bat fifth. Then it's the second baseman, Jesse Kuit. At third base is Patrick McGrath. The left fielder batting eighth is Lou Della Fera. And the right fielder is K.J. Brady. Your starting batting lineup for Bellingham this afternoon. The starting lineup's brought to you by Wilson's Transportation, the official carrier of the Victoria HarbourCats. Much like it's been all summer long, a stunning weekend for baseball. And as we prepare for the first pitch, 26 degrees Celsius here in Victoria. That's 79 degrees Fahrenheit. And just a light breeze heading out to left field. It's a lot of fans collected in the shade under the grandstand for this one this afternoon. It is going to be a hot afternoon at the ballpark of the HarbourCats, hoping they can spark their offense. It was a 1-run defeat in the series opener on Thursday, echoed by a 1-run defeat in Game 2 of the set last night. A marathon game last night, 4 hours, 7 minutes, the longest game of the season for both squads. We'll see how this afternoon's Game 3 of the set plays out. As striding his way toward home plate is Dustin Brashears, the shortstop for Bellingham, as he gets his first look at Henry O'Mana, who has got the start for Victoria this afternoon. O'Mana so far this year for Victoria, 2-2 atop the mound, the right-hander, and he will step into his motion for the first pitch of this afternoon's ball game here in Victoria. It is right across the plate for strike number 1, and right away O'Mana works ahead of Dustin Brashears. 0-1 the count. Couldn't ask for a better summer of baseball so far for Victoria. It's been hot, it's dry, and the fans have been coming out in full force, and today, no exception. The second offering to Brashears, low, and that makes it a 1-1 count. Dustin Brashears, 6 foot 185, out of North Bend, Washington. Third pitch to him, a right-handed batter, chopped up the middle of the infield. Scott Jarvis on the run from short, throw to first, just in time for out number 1, and Brashears is retired. The 6-3 ground out takes care of the leadoff batter for Bellingham this afternoon. That brings Aaron Struisma to the dish. We'll be talking about him a little bit. He's been stealing bases at an incredible rate this season. 19 already this year for Struisma. He's become the club's all-time leading base stealer with that as well. And he gets his first look at O'Mana this afternoon. Struisma yesterday, 1 for 1, drew 4 walks in the evening affair here in Victoria. First pitch from O'Mana, catches the outside corner on a fastball, and that'll be strike number 1. So back-to-back batters. O'Mana works ahead with a strikeout. Henry O'Mana, a Walnut, California product out of Cal State Fullerton. He's a senior. And his second pitch, now on the way to Struisma. High, ball 1, and we're even up 1-1. One away here in the top half of the first inning. Game 3 between Bellingham and Victoria. The Bells leading the West Division, trying to follow up their West Coast League championship with another big summer. And they're hosting the West Coast League All-Star game in just a couple of days on Monday evening. And they're well represented. They've got a handful of players, I think 6, playing in their own All-Star game on Monday night. Victoria just sending 1 player to the mid-season classic. 2-1 now the count. And again, Omana will go into his motion with Aaron Struzma at the dish, low and away, and now he's got a hitter's count to work with. 3 balls, 1 strike. Struzma will be followed by Chris Beal, the first baseman. They are the top 3 due up to start this game. And again, Omana will come home. 3-1 pitch. There's a called strike, and that'll fill things up at home plate. Struzma out of Mount Vernon, Washington, a senior at Liberty University. 22 games there this past season, hit .225. He's had a bit of a breakout summer here in the West Coast League. 3-2 pitch outside, ball 4, and Struzma will take the free pass down to first base, and that'll be the first walk charged against the starting pitcher for Victoria, Henry Omana. We mentioned the HarbourCats in their 3rd jerseys, the red and whites. This afternoon, Bellingham in their grays with blue and teal trim. Very Seattle Mariners look from Bellingham. And now they've got a base runner on for the first time today. Struzma at first after the walk, and Chris Beal, the left-handed batter, steps in. First pitch to him, high and outside, ball 1. Perhaps Omana anticipating a steal from the league leader, Struzma, over at first base. We'll see if he goes for number 20 right here to put a runner in scoring position for the visitors. 1-0 count as Omana will take a peek over his shoulder. And now he's going to try the pickoff move, but back in plenty of time is Struzma. We'll see if the speed of Bellingham comes into play. They've been tight defensive games the last couple of nights, so any opportunity to grab an extra base, maybe not such a bad idea. 1-0 pitch to home plate, high outside, 2 balls, no strikes to Chris Beal. And so far this year, the first baseman for Bellingham hitting .250, 4 for 16, does have a couple of doubles, and 3 batted in, trying to add to that total here in his first appearance of the day. 2 big strides off of first base from Struzma. 2-0 pitch to home, outside, framed up as Zach Bonneau tried to get the call from home plate umpire Chet Mass. Doesn't get it, and now it's 3-0 at home plate. Rest of your umpire crew today mentioned Mass at home plate with Steve Boutang working first and Sean Sullivan on the third base side of the diamond. That is ball number 4. 4 straight misses to Chris Beal, and now back-to-back walks issued by Omana. And there is a runner in scoring position for the visitors. Didn't have to do much for it, just had to be patient with the HarbourCats starter struggling a little bit on the mound. Trying to find a bit of control and looking for out number 2 after getting a ground out of Dustin Brashears to start the game off. So now striding into the batter's box, Bronson Larson, the heart of the batting order, the designated hitter in from the right-hand side of the plate. First pitch he sees, bounces away from the catcher. Both runners will advance. That'll be a wild pitch to move Struzma to third, Beal up to second base. So a bit of control issues here for Omana out of the gate as Larson takes the ball, and you can now make it 6 straight misses at the strike zone for Omana. And now a pair in scoring position for the visitors early in this ball game. Second pitch to Bronson Larson upcoming. Quick look from the pitcher, now to home plate. This one inside, ball number 2. So a bit of a rocky start here for Henry Omana. Just trying to dig in and find a strike zone. 2 men in scoring position for Bellingham. Top of the first inning. No score yet. This one popped into right field. Tracing back to find it is Jake Prees. This should be deep enough for a sac fly as Prees had to reel it in. Both runners will advance. Second to third and third to home as in comes Aaron Strusma. The sac fly will make this a 1-0 ball game, and Bronson Larson does his job as out number 2. And the Bellingham Bells strike first on the sacrifice. So Strusma home. He'll pick up the run after his walk. And Beal moves to third, and now an opportunity for Andrew Reichenbach to extend the damage for Bellingham. His first appearance of the day here in the first inning, and the Bellingham catcher, big swing, big miss. Strike 1. Reichenbach out of Newburgh, Oregon. Hoping to spark the offense for Bellingham early. They've generated the first run without a hit here in the first inning. Second pitch to him in the dirt. Nicely held into the batter's box by Zach Benoden. Nice job to knock that down, and the count moves to 1-1. So it's 90 feet away from a 2-0 lead is Chris Beal, and Andrew Reichenbach is in the batter's box from the left-hand side. Pops this a mile-high third base side. There's Chase Lambert. Can't see it in the sun. It landed foul by only about a foot, and yeah, he was about 10 feet offline of that ball. Lost it right in the sunshine, and fortunately for him and the HarbourCats, it was about 2 inches foul. Otherwise, that could have been all kinds of trouble, and perhaps an opportunity for Beal to sneak home from third base. But we'll reset to a 1-2 count with Reichenbach back into the batter's box. 2 away, top of the first inning, already 1-0 Bellingham. The fourth offering to home plate from Henry Omana, just outside on a fastball, 2-2. Fans were hoping for the punch out there, but they'll have to wait at least another pitch. Standing on deck for Bellingham, the second baseman Jesse Kuit, but right now Bronson Larson is the man of the hour at home plate. 2-2 pitch, swung, dropped, third strike, and Zach Bonneau will pick that up, throw to first, and retire the top half of the first inning. It's 1-0 Bellingham on a sacrifice fly from Bronson Larson, cashing in Aaron Strusma, and it's first blood for the visitors. We go to the bottom half of the inning when we return. You're watching HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com. Traders Diamond at Royal Athletic Park. Welcome back to Victoria HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com. This first inning of play brought to you by Alex Burns and Associates. Island Investing made easy at VictoriaRealEstate.com. Let's take a look at the starting defensive lineup for Bellingham this afternoon. Lou Delafera is in left field. Starting in center is Aaron Strusma, and in right is KJ Brady. The third baseman, Patrick McGrath. Dustin Brashear starts at shortstop. Jesse Kuit will be at second base, while Chris Beal will anchor the infield over at first. Andrew Reichenbach is behind the dish, and Regan Todd gets the start for Bellingham in the series finale this afternoon. The batting lineup for Victoria, leading things off, will be Chase Lambert, the third baseman. He's followed by Griffin Anderchuk and AJ Alcantara. Batting fourth is Ben Paulshuk, the left fielder. Then it's right fielder Jack Prees batting fifth. Michael Gretler is in the sixth hole, while batting seventh is Scott Jarvis. The designated hitter Nick Meyer bats eighth, and he's followed by Zach Bonneau, rounding out the batting order for Victoria today. And with that, we're set for the bottom half of inning number one as Regan Todd takes his post to top the mound, and Chase Lambert digs into the batter's box. He retired the first batter of the game in the top half of this inning, and now he'll try and provide some early offense for Victoria. The first pitch he sees, high fastball, ball number 1. So Lambert, Andrzejczyk, and A.J. Alcantara do it for the home side here in the first inning. Second pitch fouled off toward the Victoria dugout, and that'll even up the count at 1-1. Regan Todd from Centennial, Colorado, a redshirt at Arizona State University last year, and named after Ronald Reagan. 1-1 pitch to home plate. Right to the third baseman, stabbed on the backhand by Patrick McGrath, and his throw to first right on target, and that's out number 1 here in the bottom half of the first inning. The 5-3 ground out will retire Chase Lambert and bring Griffin Andrzejczyk to home plate. The most veteran of this HarbourCats group, returning to Victoria for another summer, and the second baseman will take his post in his first at bat of the afternoon here against Bellingham. Andrzejczyk yesterday 1 for 3, couple of RBIs in a losing effort for Victoria. But it's been a pretty solid year top to bottom for the Victoria infielder. First pitch he sees is high for ball number 1. So Regan Todd working quickly here in this first inning. Made short work of Chase Lambert, trying to duplicate that against Andrzejczyk. Second offering to home plate, low and inside, and Andrzejczyk works ahead in this count right out of the gate, 2 balls. Griffin Andrzejczyk, 41 games for the HarbourCats last year. .271 batting average, picked up 28 walks in his time at Royal Athletic last season. Latest offering misses, and it's 3-0, and he's headed toward another base on balls right here if he can continue to read the offerings from Regan Todd. Called strike, a dropped ball by the catcher Andrew Reichenbach, but a called strike regardless as the count now moves to 3-1, and we'll see, I'm sure, Andrzejczyk swing away, or Andrzejczyk I should say, Griffin Andrzejczyk swing away here in the bottom of the first. 3-1 pitch, popped up shallow right field. Onto it is KJ Brady, the right fielder, and he'll reel that in no problem at all. 2 away for Bellingham on the fly to right field. So AJ Alcantara will be due up next. So he gets an ovation from the home crowd here in Victoria. The fans still trickling into the seats here in the bottom of the first inning, and as I mentioned earlier on, most of them on a hot day here in Victoria trying to find some shade. First pitch swinging, fouled straight back by Alcantara. And you can count that as strike number 1 and an 0-1 count. Alcantara out of UC Irvine, a sophomore last year. .299 batting average though, pretty good year. First pitch, or second pitch, high and away, 1-1. It's a product of Alta Loma, California. 1-1 pitch. High in the strike zone, looped into right field, onto it, and making a nice running play is Struzma, and that'll retire the side. The HarbourCats go 1-2-3 down in the bottom half of the first inning, and Bellingham continues to lead it. 1-0 the score at Sports Traders Diamond at Royal Athletic Park. You're watching HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com. half of inning number 2 in Victoria. My name is Mike Walker, pinch hitting for Jay Longprey this afternoon. The series finale between Victoria and Bellingham, and make no mistake, these games are getting important now. We are one stop away from the All-Star break. The All-Star game goes Monday night in Bellingham. HarbourCats trying to pick up a win this afternoon to get back to 500 on the year. They're also trying to hunt down that wild card spot. They're 6 games back of Bellingham for first in the West Division, so that will be a tough road to reel in. But certainly their eyes are on a wild card and a first ever playoff appearance here in Victoria. Starting off the top of the second inning, back on the mound for Victoria is Henry Omana, and in the batter's box is Jesse Kuit. First pitch he saw a called strike, and the second offering from the Victoria right-hander, a breaking ball right into the zone for strike 2. And Omana, after a couple of walks, one that cost him a run in the first inning, jumps out with 2 strikes. It'll be Kuit, followed by Patrick McGrath and Lou Delafera for Bellingham here in the second inning. Third offering sliced foul by Jesse Kuit, the second baseman, and it remains an 0-2 count at home plate. Omana gave up a walk for a run as he walked Struisma and Chris Beal back-to-back in that first inning, and Bronson Larson brought Struisma home with a sacrifice fly. 0-2 pitch, high and inside to Kuit, and the count now 1-2. So we'll see if Omana has sorted out his control and can work a little more efficiently after his counterpart for Bellingham went 1-2-3 in the first inning. This pitch swung on and missed. Second strikeout of the ball game for Henry Omana as he gets Kuit whiffing on that one, and there's one away in the top half of inning number 2. And that'll bring the third baseman Patrick McGrath into the batter's box. McGrath, a big kid from the right-handed side of the box. First pitch he'll see from Omana, inside fastball, ball number 1. McGrath, 6'3", weighs just shy of 200 pounds, out of Woodinville, Washington. And the 1-0 pitch you'll see from the right-handed Omana, swing and a miss. And that'll even things up. Omana picking up his heat here in the second inning, and that'll even up this count against the Bellingham third baseman, with Lou Delafera, the left fielder, standing in the on-deck circle. 1-1 pitch. Popped foul, and that one's well out of play once again, and that'll put McGrath behind in this count, now 1-2. The second inning of play, brought to you by the Alzheimer's Society of British Columbia, a gift to honor life and all of its memories. For more information, alzheimerbc.org. Made possible by Lisco Irrigation and Landscaping. Foul ball. That'll keep the count at 1-2 as McGrath ripped that one down the third baseline. Breeze picking up a little bit to left center field here at Sports Traders Diamond. I'm sure a relief for some of the fans who are sitting in the sun, and some opportunity for right-handed batters here in Victoria. Fouled straight back, and McGrath is doing a nice job sticking in this at bat. 3 straight foul balls keeps the count at 1-2 against Henry Omana. Omana appeared in 7 games for Cal State Fullerton this year. Just 5 innings in relief. Had an 11.81 ERA, however. Trying to bring those numbers down in summer ball. This one popped into right field on the run. A diving stab from Jake Prees, and he's got the out. A flashy second out of this inning as Prees had a great jump on that ball and needed every inch of it to make the catch down the right field baseline, but that's enough to retire Patrick McGrath. A pesky at bat from McGrath. He saw 6 pitches and it needed a spectacular play in right field for the second out of this second inning. So 2 down for Henry Omana after the great stab in right. And that'll bring Delafera to home plate for his first appearance of the afternoon and his first look at Henry Omana. Delafera, 189 batting average on the season. It's been a quiet year for him. 14 hits and 74 at-bats. Does have 10 walks, though, which places him amongst the league leaders for Bellingham. First pitch he sees outside, ball 1. The second offering is just a bit low for ball number 2. Still a hitless ball game here in the second, despite the 1-0 lead for Bellingham, earned on walks. And Omana trying to make it a quick top half of this second inning as he goes home with a 2-0 pitch. That's high in ball 3, and De La Fera has got himself into a favorable position. A 3-0 count at home plate with the bottom of the batting order for Bellingham, KJ Brady, standing on deck. 3-0 pitch from Omana to the Bellingham left fielder, called strike, a fastball, and a little nod of reassurance from Zach Bonneau, the Victoria catcher, as he sends the ball back to Omana on the mound. A little bit of confidence boost here with 2 away in the inning. And now a 3-1 count at home plate as again Omana will go into his motion for home. That one's right down the pipe for called strike 2, and Omana's done a nice job to work his way back into a full count here. Omana, a big guy on the mound, an imposing body at 6'4", 225 pounds. And he's trying to make short work of inning number 2 with a full count pitch to home plate. It's popped out of play, third base side. That'll make its way all the way back onto the street in Victoria. A cloudless sky here in Victoria. And man, has it been a perfect summer for baseball or what? 3-2 pitch to home. Popped out of play, again, third base side. That's no chance for any of the Victoria fielders as it clears the grandstand as well, and it'll stay 3-2. And Bellingham, a veteran roster, won the championship a year ago. They have no freshmen on the roster this year. This is a savvy group that knows how to win in this league, and we're seeing an example of that right here from De La Fera as he fouls off another pitch. That's 3 straight fought-off pitches, if nothing else, to extend the bat and wear out the Victoria starter a little bit more as he closes in on 40 pitches here in the second inning. 3-2 offering from Omana to home plate. Swing and a miss. Strike number 3, and the third K of the afternoon for the Victoria starter will end the top half of inning number 2. It remains 1-0 Bellingham, and you're watching Victoria HarbourCats baseball on HarbourCats.com and Shaw Television. Bottom half of inning number 2 at Sports Traders Diamond here at Royal Athletic Park. Thanks for tuning in on a beautiful Saturday afternoon. Hope you're enjoying the ball game so far. It's 1-0 Bellingham over the HarbourCats as the Bells look for the sweep of this 3-game set and hope to extend their lead in the West Coast League's West Division. The HarbourCats hoping to get back to 500 and salvage the third of this series, and they'll turn to Ben Paulshock, who's going to lead off the bottom half of inning number 2 after a 1-2-3 inning from the Bellingham starter, Regan Todd. First pitch fouled straight back by Ben Paulshock for strike 1. It's Paulshock, Prees, and Michael Gretler due up here for Victoria in this inning. And so far, neither side's been able to pick up the hit. It's zeros across the board, save for the 1 run from Bellingham. Second pitch to Paulchuk is ball number 1. And the right-handed batter will step in right on the inside of that batter's box, up over the plate. The 1-1 pitch, grounded to third. He got good contact, but just couldn't straighten it out. It was about 5 feet foul as it zipped past third base. And it's now 1-2 at home. Paulchuk, a sophomore out of Clayton, California. Another big body in this Victoria lineup at 6'4". The 1-2 pitch hit into center field, just over the head of the second baseman, Jesse Kuit. And there's your first hit of the night. As up to first base with the leadoff single is Ben Paulchuk. So just the start the home crowd was looking for, and Jake Prees will step into the batter's box to try and advance the runner here in the bottom half of inning number 2, and the first time that Regan Todd has been dinged up today. That ball, a bit of a floater, and it just cleared the head of Kuit, who had a line on it, but was about a foot too short to reel it in. So Prees digs into the batter's box. A .250 batting average on the season, and right away Regan Todd will throw over to first base to keep tabs on Ben Paulchuk. Doesn't want any bonus bases given out here. Paulchuk 1 for 4 yesterday, and a swing and a miss at his first offering to home plate for strike number 1. So we'll watch the lead over at first from Paulchuk as he takes a couple of big strides off of first base. See if he thinks about forcing some offense here as Regan Todd steps off, and the advantage of being that left-handed pitcher, he's got a short distance to get across over to first, and that means that runner has to be extra aware. Can't get away with all that much with a pitcher in this scenario over at first. 0-1 offering set for Prees at home plate. A little jog and a good throw over to first, and that was close as Paulchuk just barely got back, but it was a little shoulder fake. Some of the fans here in the ballpark claiming for a balk, especially after last night when the balk against Victoria cost the game-winning run. 0-1 the count, and another big lead. Paulchuk tempting the pitcher to home. This one popped into shallow right. On his way in is KJ Brady. Didn't read the ball well off the bat, but adjusted as it hung up in right field, and that's out number 1. A fly out from Jake Prees to retire the second batter in the inning for Victoria, and that brings Michael Gretler to home plate. And we'll see if Gretler can find a spark as the chess match, I'm sure, will continue over at first base between Regan Todd and the HarbourCats runner Ben Paulchuk. So Gretler digs in, his first plate appearance of the afternoon for the Victoria first baseman. First pitch he sees, low and away, ball 1. And Gretler, who attends Oregon State University, hoping to place the home side onto the scoreboard here. Another throw over to first base from Regan Todd, chasing the runner back. That's Ben Paulchuk, who's there after a leadoff single. .222 the batting average for Gretler this year, 17 for 76. And 17 walks to his name. That leads the Victoria HarbourCats. Again, Regan Todd set on the mound. A slow move to home plate and a big swing, but a big miss from Gretler, and it's now 1-1. And you get the feeling with that sharp pickoff move that Todd has on the mound, he's going to take his time trying to throw the Victoria base runners off their rhythm. Gretler, the Victoria batter, drafted last year by the Boston Red Sox, chose not to sign and return to college, hoping to improve that standing for next year. That ball high and away, a fastball, and now it's 2-1 at home plate. And the pace of this game slows significantly here in the second inning. And as soon as a base runner gets on, that's the mindset for Regan Todd. Set his own pace. Big lead at first for Polshuk. Todd goes home on a 2-1 pitch, fouled back into the netting by Gretler, and we're even. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Gretler takes a moment to look down the third base side, gets a few signals from the third base coach for Victoria. Reading those as well as Polshuk, and 2-2 here. We'll see if the runner will go or if they're going to leave Regan Todd well enough alone with that quick pickoff move from the mound over to first. Scott Jarvis due up next for Victoria. Save for a double play here. A breaking ball just outside. Todd liked the pitch. It looked good from our angle, but just missed the zone. And now it's a full count for Michael Gretler. 3-2. Todd, a quick chat with his catcher. Gretler digs back in, and now here's a full count pitch with 1 away here in the bottom of the second inning. Runner goes, fouled straight back. Hit and run on for Victoria there, but Gretler couldn't straighten it out. Caught the top of his bat and chipped it up into the netting right in front of the press box here in Victoria. And this battle of wits continues. 3-2. Offense hasn't been much of an issue for Victoria this year. They've managed to generate the hits, but it's just been 1 run short the last couple of nights, and timeout called at home plate just before Todd was about to go into his motion. That gives the batter, Gretler, an opportunity to step out and read a new set of signs. Wonder if they'll try the hit and run again with 1 away here in this inning and a full count at home plate. Perhaps test the arm of Andrew Reichenbach, the Bellingham catcher. 3-2 pitch to home. Runner goes. It's high. Ball number 4. No throw necessary, as Gretler will take the walk, and Victoria have 2 men on here in the second inning. Gretler to first. Polshuk up to second on the base on balls. And that brings Scott Jarvis to home plate. His first appearance of the ball game. And for Jarvis this year, he's been one of the most proficient Victoria batters. Despite hitting 7th in the lineup, Jarvis 18 for 53, that's .340 on the season. And he's got 2 men on with 1 away here in the second inning. First pitch he'll see, fastball off the inside of his bat, and just a little chip shot into foul territory down the first baseline for strike number 1. Jarvis will join UCLA in the fall. 1 season of summer ball under his belt. And by the way, he's played here in the West Coast League. He'll be a nice addition to that UCLA lineup. Getting his first look at Regan Todd here. Both runners go on an 0-1 pitch. There's no throw from the catcher and a double steal as Polshuk goes to third and Gretler up to second base. The catcher, Reichenbach, wanted to pull the trigger there, but just didn't come up with the ball cleanly as it bounced right in front of his glove, and that allowed an easy pass for both Victoria runners. And now what an opportunity here for Jarvis to not only tie this game, but perhaps throw Victoria into the lead. 1-1 pitch to home plate. Jarvis, hard liner right at the second baseman, swallowed up by Jesse Kuit, but that allows the runner to score from third, and we've got a tie ball game as Ben Polshuk reads the play nicely, ensures there's no throw coming his way, and will cash in, and that'll be an RBI for Jarvis as he stands as out number 2 in this inning on the ground ball. And that brings Nick Meyer to home plate. With still a runner in scoring position, Michael Gretler's up there at second base after his walk and stolen base. 2 away, bottom half of the second inning, a fresh tie ball game at 1-1. That one way inside. Did it clip the batter? Doesn't look like it, as Meyer will stay in, but the wild pitch allows Gretler to advance to third. That was an inside heater. It didn't miss Meyer by much, but he was just able to get out of the way. Nick Meyer out of Cal Poly, a freshman this past year, and the 1-0 pitch he'll see from Regan Todd at home plate is outside, ball number 2. And it's a 2-0 count now to Meyer, the designated hitter for Victoria, with the bottom of the lineup and Zach Bonneau due up next if we get that far with 2 away in this second inning. 2-0 pitch, fouled straight back. That first offering just missed Meyer. He's actually been hit by a pitch 4 times this year. Very close to 5, but I'm sure he'd rather use his bat to cash in Michael Gretler if given the opportunity. 2-1 the count here in the first plate appearance of the afternoon for Nick Meyer. Trying to drive home the runner from third and give Victoria the lead. This one off the inside of his bat and foul down the first base side. So that'll make it 2-2. As the HarbourCats trying to find an early lead and then maybe pull away here from the Bellingham Bells. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and again the left-handed starter for the Bells, Regan Todd, into his motion and home. That one's low and inside, and we've got another full count. It was just 11 pitches in the first inning for Regan Todd, and he has well surpassed that here in the second by my count. Another 19 here in his second mound visit. Timeout called at home plate. And a bit of a practice swing from Nick Meyer there that almost clipped home plate umpire Chet Mass as they both walked out of the batter's box to the same side. 3-2 pitch, 2 away in the second. Called 3, and the punch out from Regan Todd gets him out of trouble, but 1 run given up on the ground ball RBI from Scott Jarvis. In comes Ben Paulshuck, and we've got a tie ball game going to the third. You're watching HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com.
We got Lucas and Higgins. Supported by their young friends Ryan and Aaron. We're going to raise the first base on first base. On your marks. On your marks. Get set. Go. These numbers are off the ball. And number 31, Kiss. We're going to get started from UCA. Coming down the wire. There you have it. Thank you, Ryan.
Top half of inning number 3 here in Victoria. Welcome back to Victoria HarbourCats baseball. My name is Mike Walker, pinch hitting for Jay Longpre this afternoon in Game 3 of this series between the West Division leading Bells and the second place in the division Victoria HarbourCats. And back atop the mound for Victoria is Henry Omana. First pitch he delivers to home plate is a called strike as KJ Brady will lead things off for the visitors here in inning number 3. Brady, the 9 spot in the order, the right fielder for Bellingham, will be followed by Dustin Brashears and Aaron Struzma. Swing and a miss. He was well behind that pitch. And it is now 0-2 at home plate. So Omana, after a bit of a rocky first inning with a couple of walks, came back with a quick second frame, 2 strikeouts and a 1-2-3 inning. This one popped into shallow left field. tracing it there for Victoria. Ben Paulshuck, he'll reel that in, no problem at all, and that's out number 1, a fly to left field. To start this inning on the right note for the home side, and we go back to the top of the order for Bellingham as Dustin Brashears prepares to step into the batter's box. The Bell's shortstop 0 for 1 in the ball game after a ground out in the first inning. And the right-handed Omana will set back into his motion in a 1-1 ball game here at Sports Traders Diamond. This one is crushed out to left field, and that one is a no-doubter. Dustin Brashears, a solo home run here in the top half of inning number 3. He got everything on that pitch from Henry Omana, and he is immediately restored the Bellingham lead after they gave up the game in the bottom of the second. He makes short work of it here in the third. The solo blast from Brashears, and the Bells jump right back into the driver's seat. And that will bring the second batter in the order for Bellingham up to the plate, and it's Aaron Struzma. That left field, shallow left field, sees a lot of balls fly over that fence. 310 down the line. It's 310 to right as well, but it seems to be a magnet with that big scoreboard in left field and the netting to protect the cars on the street below, and that was a hot shot off the bat of Brashears to make it 2-1 in favor of Bellingham. And the 1-0 pitch now to Aaron Struzma. And it's 1-1 at home plate. Struzma with a bit of a check swing there, ruled that it was a strike regardless. He is got a run scored in this game already after drawing a walk in his first plate appearance. The 1-1 pitch, ground ball to the shortstop. Jarvis eats it up there and a laser to first. Did the first baseman stay on the bag? Gretler, he did. Just barely. It was a bit of a high throw from Jarvis, but Gretler did a nice job to reel the ball in and keep his right foot glued to the base for the second out here in this inning. That'll go into the books as a 6-3 ground out for Struzma. And there are 2 away now here in the top half of inning number 3 with Chris Beal on his way to home plate. First pitch he sees is outside, strike number 1. It's been a big offensive year for Bellingham, one of the top slugging teams in the West Coast League. And adding to that here in this inning is Dustin Brashears. That one a called strike now to Beal, and it's 1-1 at home plate. One pitch from the Victoria starter, Omana, a home. This one's driven hard out to right field. Long run for Prees. It's over his head, lands at the warning track in right center field, and it's a stand-up double for Chris Beal. No problem at all as he sent that ball for a ride into right center, and there was no way that Prees was going to get there after making a wonderful catch down the right field line in the second inning. That one well out of his reach, and that'll count into the books as the second hit of the game for the visitors, second in this inning. And Bronson Larson, after a sacrifice fly and an RBI in his first plate appearance, has another RBI opportunity here with 2 away in the third. Now Chris Beal parked on second base after a double. First pitch to Larson, a nice breaking ball for a called strike. And it's 0-1. Beal with a big uncontested lead at second base, and Larson will be followed by Andrew Reichenbach if the Bells can continue this offensive beat. 0-1 pitch. That one another breaking ball, just didn't quite get the same movement on it, and it's inside for ball 1 and a 1-1 count. And Omana will take a moment to wipe the sweat off his brow atop the mound here. 27 degrees Celsius now in Victoria, and about 80 Fahrenheit. 1-1 count with 2 away here in this third inning, and the designated hitter Bronson Larson at home plate. 1-1 pitch. chopping ground ball to the third base side. Lambert will reel it in and fire a rocket over to first, and that will retire the side. But it's the home run from Dustin Brashears that stands as the difference right now. 2-1 in favor of the Bellingham Bells. We come back for the bottom half of the third when we return to HarbourCats Baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com. To the bottom half of inning number 3 we go at Sports Traders Diamond at Royal Athletic Park. Thanks for tuning in for a Saturday matinee between the Bellingham Bells and Victoria HarbourCats. And it's Zach Bonneau to lead off the bottom half of this third frame, with the Bells leading 2-1 after a solo home run from Dustin Brashears in the top half of this inning. A called strike against Bonneau to lead this frame off. He asks for a brief explanation on a pulled back bunt attempt. The second pitch he'll see from the Bellingham starter, Regan Todd. That one misses, and they even things up at 1-1. Due up for the HarbourCats in this inning, Bonneau, Lambert, and then Andrzejczyk. 1-1 pitch, way outside, and it moves to 2-1 at home plate. First appearance of the day for Zach Bonneau at home. And the Victoria catcher, the first pitch he sees, just fouls it straight back. And it moves to 2-2. So far this year, Bonneau, it's been a bit of a struggle at home plate. Just 2 for 22, an .091 batting average. And the 2-2 pitch, swing and a miss, strike number 3. And there's the first out of this third inning for Regan Todd, a swinging strikeout of Zach Bonneau. So we go back to the top of the Victoria order, and Lambert will step in. He's 0 for 1 in the game after a ground ball to third base to lead things off for Victoria in the bottom of the first. And so far this season for Lambert, a .219 batting average, 7 hits, and 4 batted in 32 at-bats. First pitch he sees, hit hard out to left field, not quite enough to clear the wall, but it will drop in front of Lou Delafera. He fumbles it a little bit and guns to second, but not in time. It is a double for Chase Lambert, and that will electrify the crowd here in Victoria as he cruises in with an extra base hit with one away here in this third inning. Well hit ball, just missed a home run by about 10 or 15 feet, and you can see coming off the bat he didn't quite get a full connection on the ball, but well hit nonetheless. And manufacturing offense, second hit of the game for Victoria, nothing wrong with that. Griffin Andrzejczyk due up now, the second baseman for the home side. A fly ball to right field in his first at bat, and now in the third inning, chance for an RBI and another opportunity to equalize against Bellingham. That pitch in the dirt, knocked down by Andrew Reichenbach, the catcher, and held for ball number 1. It's been big numbers for Griffin Andrzejczyk. 381 on the season, 16 hits in limited time, only 42 at-bats. After joining the squad late, the second pitch he'll see moves the count to 2-0. 9 RBIs in those 42 at-bats, 9 RBIs in just 13 games for Andrzejczyk. A welcome offensive boost, and really one of the big reasons this team was able to rattle off 9 straight wins and now are 8-2 in their last 10. 2-0, huge lead off of second base by Lambert, but Andrechuk fouls it out of play, and it's now 2-1. Might think that Lambert is toying with the idea of a stolen base here. He's got 3 of them on the year and isn't being too shy up at second base with the efficiently hitting Griffin Andrechuk at home. 1 away, bottom of the third inning. Cats down by a run, the 2-1 pitch, and now Lambert's caught going for third, and he is picked off at third. Good communication as the second baseman, Jesse Kuit, gave Regan Todd, the pitcher, the heads up. And a little too anxious, perhaps, was Chase Lambert. We thought he might try that steal, but he is picked off, and that's out number 2, and that might just spoil the offensive opportunity for Victoria here in the third inning with now 2 away, and Andrechuk forced to generate something himself at home. The 2-1 pitch, ground ball to third. It's going to be a long throw for Patrick McGrath, but he's got all the time in the world to make it, and a defensive play from the infield of the Bellingham Bells gets them out of trouble in the third. It remains 2-1 in favor of the visitors. You're watching HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com. We're off to the top half of inning number 4 at Royal Athletic Park in Victoria. The third game of this 3-game set between the Bellingham Bells and the Victoria HarbourCats. Bellingham trying to stretch their lead on the West Division, and Victoria hoping to claw back to 500 after a slow start to this season, but a spectacular run here in July. 9 straight wins, followed by back-to-back losses against this Bells squad, has Victoria right back in contention for a wild card spot, and they're trailing right now 2-1 against those Bells, trying to avoid a series sweep here at home as Andrew Reichenbach steps into the batter's box for the visitors, and a big swing and a miss is strike number 1, with Regan Todd still atop the mound for Victoria. The 0-1 pitch to home plate misses low, and it's 1-1. The latest spout of offense came in the top half of the third. Dustin Brashears saw 1 pitch in his second at bat and crushed it over the left field fence for a 2-1 lead. This pitch fouled back by Reichenbach into the cage just in front of the fans sitting in the front row here in Victoria, and the count is now 1-2. Of course, the Victoria HarbourCats hosted the All-Star Game in their inaugural season here in Victoria. Bellingham will do the same, as punched out is Reichenbach, a called strike. He didn't like it much, but he is out number 1 here in the 4th inning. Bellingham has the All-Star Game hosting duties on Monday evening. They're sending 6 players to the Mid-Season Classic. Justin Colmany, Branson Larson, Aaron Struzma, Dustin Brashears, Andrew Kemmer, and Andrew Reichenbach, who just struck out for the first out of the 4th inning, and that brings Jesse Kuit to the batter's box, the second baseman. Victoria, meanwhile, only sending 1 game to the All-Star, or 1 player rather, to the All-Star Game. Dominic Tapuzian will play Monday, and there's a ground ball base hit right up the middle of the infield from Jesse Kuit. That one just glanced over the laces of the Victoria pitcher and up the middle of the infield, and that's the third hit of the ball game for Bellingham. And Kuit, after a strikeout in his first appearance, improves to 1-2 on the afternoon, and Patrick McGrath now steps in for the Bells. So Henry Omana will try a pickoff move. Not much of a lead over there at first from Jesse Kuit, but Omana tries him nonetheless, and now refocuses his attention on McGrath at home plate. First pitch to home now is low and away, and you can count that as ball number 1 to McGrath. So far in the season, a 212 batting average for Patrick McGrath, 14 for 66, but he has 3 home runs. And he's taking aim at that left field wall again here. 1-0 pitch, runner breaks for second. This is blooped up just over the head of the second baseman, and that worked out perfectly for Bellingham. That could have been an easy double play had Griffin Anderchuk remained deep in his position at second base, but he challenged in, ready for a throw to second, and the ball went just over where he was standing moments before, and that will be a bloop single for Patrick McGrath, and up to second base goes Jesse Kuit. So some unfortunate defensive stance there for Victoria, just plain unlucky. And there are 2 on with 1 away here for Bellingham in the 4th inning, with Lou Delafera stepping in, a strikeout in his first at-bat today. Runners at first and second. Henry Omana will take a look at the lead runner and now go home with a fastball that misses low for ball 1 to the left fielder of these Bells. Lou Delafera, attending the University of Maine, a sophomore, where this past year he hit .250. And the 1-0 pitch he'll see here after a great battle with Henry Omana in his first plate appearance, resulting in the strikeout. This time he'll take a strike. By my count, it was 7 pitches between the two. And the first at bat for Delafera. We're at 2 in this showdown between the pair. And a great opportunity here for Bellingham to extend a 2-1 lead. Omana, another long look at the runner at second, and another pitch well outside is perhaps the pressure of runners on, playing into the psyche a little bit here of the Victoria starting pitcher, as he quickly approaches 70 pitches here in this start. 2-1 offering on the way, and this pitch high for another ball as it moves to 3-1. Our 4th inning of play brought to you by Wilson's Transportation, with over 90 vehicles to rent. They are the official carrier of the Victoria HarbourCats. We've got the West Coast League out-of-town scoreboard coming up for you in between the innings. But right now it's a hitter's count at home plate and a foul ball from Lou Delafera. That one, that come through the fence. The fans chatting down beneath us. Bit of a rise from the crowd. Everyone's all right. And it's a 3-2 count with 1 away in this frame. And what an opportunity here for Henry Omana to win this battle and calm the threat from Bellingham. Can he strike out Delafera for the second time here, or will Delafera come through with a hit? 3-2 pitch. Strike number 3 called. A fastball just on the outside portion of the plate. A long, incredulous stare from Delafera, but he is down regardless. That's the second strikeout of the inning. And worth noting, the fans here at the ballpark getting excited because the 8th batter in the lineup is a victim of a contest here at the ballpark. If they strike out 3 times in the ball game, somebody wins $500 to the keg. That's 2 for Delafera in the first 4 innings. But still runners at first and second. And now it's KJ Brady, the 9-hole batter, stepping in. First pitch he sees is a called strike, and it's an 0-1 count. And some good composure here from Henry Omana. And we've got timeout here as Trotting in is Scott Jarvis from shortstop, and he wants to chat things over, and Greg Merritt, the Victoria manager, will join him on the mound as the entire Victoria infield steps in. And they're going to discuss this situation here with an 0-1 count, 2 away in the inning, and runners at first and second. Bit of a strange time to have a meeting on the mound when things aren't exactly out of control here for Victoria, but clearly Scott Jarvis saw something that he wasn't totally comfortable with, and the Victoria shortstop convened the meeting atop the hill, and now the home plate umpire, Chet Mass, is going to step out to the mound and break things up a little bit. Patiently waiting at home plate is KJ Brady. He's 0 for 1 in the game, a fly ball to left field in his first at bat. But he's got Patrick McGrath standing at first base and Jesse Kuit up at second. And a good opportunity to extend the 1-run lead. So it looks like we sorted everything out. Everyone is settled on the game plan here, and Omana will take a look at the second base runner and go home, a showing bunt, and that's probably why there was the discussion on the mound, as Brady showed the bunt on the first opportunity, pulled it back there, and it's now 1-1. A gutsy spot here to try the sacrifice play with 2 away in the inning, but we'll see if Brady, who isn't known for his batting ability, will show bunt again here on a 1-1 offering to home plate. Here's the pitch. Swinging away is Brady. He pops it straight up. Tracing it is the second baseman, Griffin Anderchuk, and he reels it in for out number 3. Bit of trouble, a couple of hits in the inning for Bellingham, but no harm done. It remains 2-1 in favor of the Bells as we head to the bottom half of the 4th. When we return, you're watching HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com.
We're going to throw it down the Myra Award. She got these advanced today.
Thanks so much, Dan. I'm on the first base line here in the bleachers, hanging out with the Can family. Now, you guys come to a lot of HarbourCats games this season. How many do you think? And you guys are always sitting here, and you guys are serious about these seats and your setup. And what do we got going on here? Your team? I also understand the personal lines with. Oh, the Ginger Ninja, you mean our manager. Wow, and how do you know him?
As we prep for the bottom half of inning number 4, it's time to take a look at the West Coast League out-of-town scoreboard. This is the only matinee on the schedule today, so a host of games tonight. All the other West Coast League teams in action. At 6:35 Pacific, Wenatchee will take on Kelowna. The Kitsap Blue Jackets are up against Medford at 6:35 as well. 7:05 start between Corvallis and Yakima, and then also at 7:05 tonight, Bend will take on Walla Walla. And the big game to watch in the out-of-town scoreboard tonight, Cowlitz against Klamath Falls. Those are the 2 teams that the Victoria HarbourCats will be competing with for that wild card spot as the Cats step to the plate here in the bottom half of inning number 4. AJ Alcantara will lead things off, and the WCL out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Sports Traders. Dive into summer with savings on a wide selection of new and used golf equipment. Sports Traders at 608 Discovery Street in Victoria. 1-1 the count to Alcantara, who flew out to center field in his first at-bat of the ball game, and his HarbourCats trailing the Bells 2-1. This one shallow right field pop fly, and KJ Brady is there, a routine catch for the first out here in the 4th inning. That'll be an F9 in your scorebook, and there's 1 away. And that key game in the out-of-town scoreboard, the HarbourCats right now 2 games back of the wild card spot. They're 6 games back of these Bellingham Bells in the chase for the division, and the problem is right now the 2 teams they're chasing are playing each other, so they're giving up a game at some point either way. But I'm sure Greg Merritt, the HarbourCats manager, is telling the guys here, 1 game away from the All-Star break, focus on winning games yourselves. They won 9 in a row to start this month, but they've dropped 2 straight here to Bellingham as Ben Paulshuk steps in. He had the first hit of the night for Victoria, a single that turned into a run, the lone run of the game for the HarbourCats so far, and the first pitch he sees is ball number 1. Second offering outside. Oh, it's a called strike, however, and it's a 1-1 count. A bit of a head shake from Paulshuk as he thought perhaps that had missed the zone, but the fastball was good nonetheless for a 1-1 count. Left-handed Regan Todd, the starter for Bellingham, still out there, and this one is a mile high in left field. Does it have enough legs to get out? Lou Delafera is there. He misses the catch at the warning track, and trotting up to second base is Ben Paulshuk. Got everything on it, just lifted it a bit too high, and it was close to getting out. Landed maybe 3 or 4 feet from the wall, and that will be ruled a hit, as it appears Lou Delafera had a bit of trouble tracing it into the sun. We already saw troubles for the Victoria third baseman Chase Lambert fighting the sun earlier in this game, and that one victimizes the Bellingham left fielder, so it's a 1-out double for Ben Paulshuk. And that's your game-tying run in scoring position for Victoria here in the bottom half of the 4th inning, with now Jake Prees en route to the batter's box. Prees will be followed by Michael Gretler here. And really in the heart of the Victoria order, trying to pull even with Bellingham once again. That first pitch, low and inside for ball 1. Another close, tight ball game between these two. Neither side willing to give up a whole lot. Thursday night was a 1-run defeat for Victoria at the hands of Bellingham. Last night, similar story, a 1-run loss in a 4-hour, 7-minute marathon here at Sports Traders Diamond. Latest pitch to Prees outside, and it's now 2 balls, no strikes, with Ben Paulshuk parked up at second base, hoping his teammate will give him an opportunity to stride home and tie this game at 2. 4 hits for Bellingham, now 3 for the HarbourCats. A long look at the runner at second base, and the latest pitch home, swing and a miss. Prees unable to catch up with that offering, and it's now 2-1. Another big lead from Paulshuk up at second base. We saw a Victoria runner get picked off, Chase Lambert, in between second and third last inning. And tempting fate is Paulshuk out there at the middle bag. 2-1 the count. That one came out of the hand early for Regan Todd, floated in above the head of Jake Prees, and he's got an opportunity with a hitter's count now, and 1 away in this frame. So Prees will dig his cleats into the turf on the right side of the batter's box. 3-1 pitch, popped out of play first base side, and a grit of the teeth from Jake Prees. He knows he just missed that pitch, and that might be the best one he sees in this at-bat now, with a count at 3-2. Prees steps back in, and anxiously waiting another opportunity is Michael Gretler. And the 3-2 pitch on his way is whenever there's a base runner on, Regan Todd really slows the pace of this ball game right down. Takes a long look at second, and bouncing her out of there is Ben Paulshuk, but Jake Prees, the batter, gives his teammate an opportunity to breathe, calls timeout, and steps out of the batter's box. 3-2 still to count. Another full count pitch on the way from Regan Todd, just outside, and Andrew Eichenbrock framed it up for as long as he could, but it's a walk nonetheless, and trotting his way down to first base is Jake Prees. So runners at first and second now for the HarbourCats. And these red jerseys have been good to them. 9 wins and 1 loss in these red jerseys over the last couple of weeks, and that latest walk is going to bring the Bellingham manager out of the dugout. That's Jeff James, out to have a chat with his starting pitcher. And actually, excuse me, that's not the manager. That looks like pitching coach Jim Clem, who's out to discuss things with his starter, Regan Todd. And that gives Greg Merritt an opportunity to sneak out to home plate and have a few words with Michael Gretler, who's set to come up now. And Now Greg Merritt requests that Ben Paulshock, the runner on second base, come over and have a brief discussion as well, as Merritt works his way back to the Victoria dugout. And it looks like confidence restored in Regan Todd as Jim Clem will wander his way back to the Bellingham dugout. 30 years of coaching for Jim Clem. He's actually been with the Bells since 2011. And it looks like he's settled his left-handed starter down a little bit here. It's Victoria threatening in the bottom half of the inning, and now it's Gretler with an opportunity, a walk in his first plate appearance, then a stolen base. In fact, he made it all the way to third with a wild pitch, but wasn't able to cash in for Victoria. He was stranded 90 feet from home. Stepping off the mound is Todd, and again, Paulshock is tempting fate out there at second base, but Victoria already a double steal in this game as well, so maybe that's on again for the home side, although you'd have to think Bellingham anticipating that here with 2 men on and 1 away. First pitch to Gretler. Looked good, but just missed the strike zone. And it's ball number 1. Gretler out of Oregon State. The HarbourCats first baseman, a long look down at the third base coach for a new set of signs. And an important moment here midway through the ball game. Regan Todd comes set on the mound. Another long look at second base, and this one popped right up. And this is going to be a bit of trouble. Back goes Dustin Brashears, the shortstop. He has lost it as well, but the HarbourCats are stuck because the runners did not advance from first and second, and it was too deep to be an infield fly, I believe, or was infield fly called? And we're going to have to see. That it looks like infield fly was in effect, although it didn't appear that the Bellingham infielders were aware of it. So out on the play is the batter, Gretler. A bit of a confusing moment there. Either way, it would have been the same scenario. Runners at first and second for the HarbourCats, because there was no way that Ben Paulshock was going to make it to third after that ball dropped in behind the shortstop, Dustin Brashears. But we need to keep a sun counter going. That's 3 balls lost by outfielders and infielders so far this afternoon, and we're only in the bottom of the 4th inning. Once at third, once at left, and now the shortstop, Dustin Brashears, the latest victim. Fastball low and in the dirt on the first pitch now to Scott Jarvis with 2 away in this inning. Jarvis had ground out in his first plate appearance, and he's still got Paulshock at second and Jake Prees at first. And Victoria hoping to avoid their third and fourth runners left on base. A pickoff attempt at second, and that was close. The throw was there, but the tag was not, as Jesse Kuit came across to snag the ball from his pitcher, and just getting back to the base in time is Ben Paulshock. Want to know the count? Healthy leads at first and second from the HarbourCats runners. Jarvis in the batter's box, Nick Meyer on deck. 2-1 Bellingham the score here in the bottom half of inning number 4, and the 1-0 pitch swung on and missed. A pretty good cut there from Jarvis, but he couldn't connect. And it's now 1-1. Regan Todd had been pretty efficient through 3 innings, only 40 pitches thrown, but it's been a lengthy, long, drawn-out bottom of the 4th here. And Jarvis hoping to extend that for the home side. 1-1 pitch, set on the mound is Todd. This one floats in, and that breaking ball didn't miss by much. And the count moves to 2-1. Jarvis, a freshman at UCLA out of San Jose, hasn't yet played a game for UCLA, but will join that program in the fall. 2 balls, 1 strike he's facing now, with 2 away here in this frame, and the left-hander home, swing and a miss, 2-2. And they've both been half-hearted swings from Scott Jarvis. He hasn't really spun around on one, perhaps having a bit of trouble reading the Bellingham starter. And for the first time today, a little bit of movement out in the Bell's bullpen, but mostly loitering as opposed to actually throwing out there so far. As Regan Todd tries to close out the fourth frame, and the 2-2 pitch misses high and away. And once again, the HarbourCats batters have done a nice job drawing out a plate appearance. This one now up to 5 pitches. Prius at first, Polshuk at second. And the HarbourCats trailing by a run, hoping to change that before this fourth inning comes to a close. But we'll see what Scott Jarvis has to offer as the runners go. And Jarvis hits this well out to left field, but it will hook foul. It's a shame, too. It was nearly at the base of the wall in left. He got a rise out of the crowd, but Jarvis just couldn't quite straighten it out. Perhaps saw the pitch he was waiting for, got a little bit anxious, and sliced it out of play. So we'll stay 3-2 through now 6 pitches in this at-bat. And the chess match continues. Still 2 men on, and can Jarvis win this battle and come up with a hit against Regan Todd? Runners go, ground ball up the middle. There to receive it is Jesse Kuit. His throw to first had to be quick, but he gets the out to retire the side. And it remains 2-1 in favor of the Bellingham Bells here in Victoria. The top of the 5th is on the way next when we return to HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com.
Good job, dude. You can do that. Give me
Top half of inning number 5 on deck from here in Victoria. Welcome back to Royal Athletic Park on a sunny Saturday afternoon. It's the series finale between the Bellingham Bells and the Victoria HarbourCats, and it's 2-1 in favor of the visitors as we head to inning number 5. And leading things off is Dustin Brashear as he shows bunt and fouls it off for strike number 1 at home plate. Of course, Brashear's second plate appearance of the ball game ended up over the fence in left field, a solo home run, and that's the difference in the ball game right now. 2-1 the score. My name's Mike Walker, pinch hitting for Jay Longpre this afternoon on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com. And Brashear's 1 for 2 in the day. Sends this one right to the second baseman, and that's an easy reception and an easy out for Griffin Anderchak, and we've got one away here in the top half of inning number 5 on the 4-3 ground out. Time now for the Alzheimer's Society of British Columbia trivia question. There's a rising tide of dementia in BC, but there is hope if we act now. Learn more at alzheimerbc.org. And your trivia question today: which Major League Hall of Famer grounded into the most double plays of any other player during the span of his career? Which Major League Hall of Famer had the most double play groundouts in his career? A foul ball off the bat of the second Bellingham batter, Aaron Struzma, is strike number 1. We'll have the answer for you in the bottom half of inning number 5. Give you a hint, it's not a name you would expect in terms of double plays, but we'll have that answer coming up in just a few moments. Struzma in with 1 away here in the top half of the 5th inning, and it's Henry Omana still on the mound for Victoria. He started this game, his 5th start of the season. This one, a breaking ball inside for now a 1-1 count. Worth noting that Struzma flashed out a bunt there second batter in a row to do that, and that caused Victoria's third baseman Chase Lambert to come challenging in from third. 1-1 pitch, fouled out of play, and the count now moves to 1-2. So Struzma up now. Chris Beal, the first baseman, next. The Bellingham Bells combined have 4 hits this afternoon. Again, it's been a defensive affair. Full credit to the starting pitchers, Omana for Victoria and Regan Todd for Bellingham. That breaking ball just missed as Struzma tried to turn around on that and drive it over the left field fence, but it's foul, and it remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. 2-1 the score in favor of Bellingham. And they're not all that far away from locking up a West Division title. This one is crushed out to left field as he did turn on the breaking ball right to the fence and gone. A huge home run from Aaron Struzma. And the center fielder sends one to left field, and it's 3-1 in favor of Bellingham, their second solo shot of the day. And that was 2 pitches in a row that looked awfully the same out of the hand of Henry Omana. Struzma couldn't turn around on the first breaking ball, fouled it off, but the second one he made no mistake, right into the wheelhouse. And the second homer of the afternoon for the visiting side has extended their lead by a run. So Chris Beal will step in, and after a right-handed batter takes one out of the park, the left-handed batting Beal digs into home plate and takes the first pitch for a ball. In what is now a 3-1 ball game, and 2 of the 5 hits from Bellingham today have gone over the fence. 2-2 pitch to Beal at home plate, called strike. Breaking ball didn't cash in there, but the fastball in a very similar spot ruled a strike by home plate umpire Chet Mass. 1 away in this inning as Omana goes home again. This one swing and a miss. Way behind that was Beal, and the count moves to 1-2. Beal will be followed by Bronson Larson, but Beal 1 for 1, a double and a walk so far to his name, and it was a well-hit double to right center field in his last plate appearance. 1-2. This time he's under it. In comes the left fielder Ben Paulshak, and that's a routine fly ball for the second out in this frame. So the F7 has 2 away here in the top half of the 5th inning. 1 run in the first for Bellingham, then 1 in the third, and now 1 in the 5th. The odd numbers have been working for the visitors. Meanwhile, Victoria, their lone run of the game so far came in the bottom half of inning number 2. Larson steps in. First pitch he sees off the end of his bat on a check swing, and that will count as a strike on a foul ball. Larson going to Brigham Young University. He's a junior there out of Fruit Heights, Utah. And the second pitch he'll see from Omana bounces off the plate, off the shoulders catcher, and over toward the on-deck circle for ball number 1, 1-1 count. And Omana now surpassing the 80 pitch mark this afternoon as Larson slices one right over toward the Bellingham Bells dugout, sending a couple players scrambling out of the way, and it's 1-2. But it's been the big hits at big moments, a couple of solo home runs that really stand out for Bellingham. They've had the power. No surprise, though, they've been one of those teams over the last couple of years here in the West Coast League. They've been a big hitting club. 2 balls, 2 strikes after the latest pitch misses from Omana. Still no movement in the Victoria bullpen as Omana hopes to close out the 5th inning on his own merits. Swing and a miss, tipped into the catcher's glove, and that's another strikeout to close out inning number 5. And you can make it strikeout number 6 on the afternoon for Henry Omana. It remains 3-1 in favor of the Bellingham Bells after a Struzma home run in the 5th. Can the HarbourCats answer in the bottom half of the frame? We'll find out when we come back. You're watching HarbourCats Baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com.
Victoria HarbourCats are proud to be providing live stream broadcasting throughout the season, covering home and away games, backed by Coach Fisher, Reed Browncraft, Sean Davis. Contestants Heather Leary, who won the Cali Hill Gift Certificate, and Mary Knight, who won the Gift Certificate. Your gift certificates are now ready in the info booth for you to pick up.
To the bottom half of inning number 5 we go here in Victoria. This frame brought to you by Freedom 55 Financial. Freedom now, freedom tomorrow. It's advice that works for you. It's a 3-1 lead for the Bellingham Bells over the Victoria HarbourCats, and it'll be Nick Meyer, Zach Bonneau, and Chase Lambert, the 8th, 9th, and 1st hitters in the order. Due up for the home side here in the 5th frame, trying to answer the home run from Aaron Struzma. In that last plate appearance, in the first pitch that Meyer sees, his ball number 1 is still out on the bump for Bellingham. Regan Todd, who started this game, and at this point he's given up just 3 hits. 1-0 pitch that glances off the glove and rolls away from the catcher Andrew Reichenbach, and it's now a 2-0 count to Meyer at home plate. A strikeout in his first plate appearance, despite a good battle, 6 pitches against Regan Todd. And the 2-0 pitch from the left-hander to the right-handed batter, fouled back, and you can make it 2-1. A 3-hit night, a quiet night, quiet afternoon, I suppose, for Victoria so far. Meyer, a 193 batting average to this point in the season. 11 hits and 57 at-bats, and he fouled that one off of his foot, and he'll take a moment to limp around the batter's box, shake that off, and step back in for what will be a 2-2 pitch from Todd. Victoria heading into the All-Star break and would love to finish above 500. It would be the first time in franchise history that they finish at 500, I should say. They cannot finish above 500 into the break. They're currently 17-18 on the year, but it would be the first time at 500 if they can pick up a win this afternoon, and that would leave them still 2 or perhaps a game back of the wild card spot. Coming down the home stretch of this season with the All-Star game coming up in Bellingham on Monday. 3-2 pitch to home plate. Meyer laces it down the third baseline. Got everything on the ball, but it was about 30 feet foul by the time it reached the Bellingham bullpen. Lots of contact there from Meyer. Now we'll see if the Victoria designated hitter can straighten it out on another full count pitch. And Regan Todd has had a game where he's been completely in command. 2 walks so far, but that's it. He's made it difficult on the Victoria batters. This one is straightened out, splits the gap between the shortstop and the third baseman, and Meyer will cruise into first base. Count that as a win in that battle as he picks up a single and strolls into first base with a leadoff hit for the home side. So on to the catcher, Zach Bonneau, and as the HarbourCats try and spice things up here in the 5th inning, it's time for the answer to your Alzheimer's Society of BC trivia question. Which Major League Hall of Famer grounded into the most double plays of any other player during his career? And the first pitch to Zach Bonneau, he shows bunt and pulls it back. The answer, Cal Ripken Jr. 350 double plays he hit into during the span of his 20-year career. Cal Ripken Jr. would not be anywhere near the top of my guesses for the answer to that question. But he is the record holder. Again, Bonneau shows bunt, pulls it back, but gets called for a strike anyways. The count moves to 1-1. Trivia question, again, brought to you by the Alzheimer's Society of BC. Your support provides confidence, offers compassion, and creates friendship, as well as giving hope. The Alzheimer's Society of BC. Another called strike to Bonneau. And we'll have a trivia question for you in the 5th inning of each and every HarbourCats home game this season. A situation now in the 5th inning. The designated hitter, Meyer, a leadoff singles. He stands at first, and it's now a 1-2 count to Bonneau at home plate. He was showing bunt, but will be limited in his options now with 2 strikes on the board. 4th pitch he sees from Regan Todd shows bunt, pulls it back, and the count goes to 2-2. So the HarbourCats content to stick with some small ball here from the bottom of their batting lineup, with the top of the order and Chase Lambert due up next. Probably the appropriate decision, and we'll see if Zach Bonneau can score and drop this ball down. 2-2 the count, bunt showing, fouled back, and there is your first out of this 5th inning, is unable to connect on the sacrifice of Zach Bonneau, and that will leave the runners stranded at first base on the strikeout. So Lambert will dig in. He's had a good game so far, 1 for 2, a double in his last plate appearance, but then he got picked off trying to steal third. So we'll see if his bat is still aligned here in an effort to move Nick Meyer on from first base. 5th inning in the HarbourCats, now up to 4 hits. I'm sure they would appreciate a bit more offense here against one of the league's top teams. First pitch from Regan Todd misses high, and that's ball 1 to Chase Lambert. And after that leadoff single from Nick Meyer, we do have action in the Bellingham bullpen. First movement out there today. And I'll have to reel in who that might be warming up. I think, yeah, it's Channing Nesbitt, the left-hander, getting loose in the bullpen. Second pitch. Another ball to Lambert at home plate. So we may see Nesbitt as soon as this inning here if Regan Todd continues to run into a bit of trouble. Lambert steps out. The Victoria third baseman takes his signs, and with 1 away, you wonder if maybe it's a green light from Nick Meyer over at first, although he's not known for base stealing. He'll be chased back, and that one's thrown away. Tossed well over the head of the first baseman, and it's all the way to the Victoria bullpen. That will allow Meyer to go from first to third on the error against the pitcher. Well, wasn't expecting that, were we? Really not much of a stolen base threat at all as Meyer, and that ball was airmailed by Regan Todd, and it ended up about as far away as it could, allowing the runner to go from first to third on the E1. So now the runner goes from first base to 90 feet away from the second run of the afternoon for Victoria, and also gives Chase Lambert a sacrifice opportunity if need be. 2-0 pitch to home plate. Now 3 balls, no strikes. A fastball high and away, and Griffin Anderchuk is licking his chops in the on-deck circle, waiting to get into this position here with 1 and perhaps more than that on base here with a 3-0 count to Lambert. Again, the pitch home. This one's a called strike. Lambert taking all the way, the fastball right down the middle. And suddenly the warm-up from Channing Nesbitt in left field gets a little more serious for the Bells. He may be called upon to face Anderchuk here in just a moment. 3-1 the count again. Regan Todd goes home, popped up on a bunt attempt from Lambert. Perhaps a squeeze play on there. Wonder if they were thinking about sending Meyer home on a bunt. But no dice on the foul ball, so now 3 balls, 1 strike. And Todd will come set, trying to figure his way out of this jam here. This pitch, swing and a miss. And that is strike number 3. So down goes Chase Lambert. And that's the second out, and that's a tough one to take for Victoria, with opportunity given to them on the overthrow. But if you're going to pick anybody out of this HarbourCats lineup to step in with a runner in scoring position, it's probably this next batter, Griffin Anderchuk, the second baseman. Digs into the batter's box, although he's been quiet today. A fly ball to right and a ground out to third. That is it so far for the Victoria veteran. First pitch you'll see from Regan Todd. Gets through the catcher. Coming home is the runner, and it's a 3-2 ball game. That one right through the wickets of the catcher, Andrew Reichenbach, and that allows Meyer to come home, and almost a free pass all the way for Victoria. The overthrow from the pitcher allows the single from Meyer to turn into a runner at third, and then he scampers home on a pass ball. So that went right through the legs of the catcher. And Anderchuk suddenly has pressure off. The second pitch he sees also a little bit squirrely, and it's now 2-0. So 3-2 the score, and Victoria has clawed their way right back into a one-run ball game. And with 2 away in this frame, a chance here as Anderchuk calls timeout. I'm not even sure if it was Anderchuk calling timeout. It may have been the catcher Reichenbach, and they'll reset at home plate. Anderchuk looked a little surprised that timeout was called in that scenario. And now a 2-0 pitch from Regan Todd to home. Anderchuk shows bunt again, and Reichenbach, perhaps showing a bit of frustration, dropped that ball too. In fact, 3 pitches in this plate appearance, and he's yet to make a clean catch behind the dish. And it is allowed Nick Meyer to score for Victoria's second run of the afternoon. 3-0 pitch from Anderchuk. Went after it, popped it up. Long run for the first baseman, and unable to reel it in is Chris Beal. He gave it a good effort on the first base side, but it was right over toward the grandstand, and he would have had to lay out, and that close to a concrete wall, probably a safe decision to pull up and watch it drop for the first strike. But it's a hitter's count now for Anderchuk, and he's got the ability here to tie this game with one swing of the bat. The offering to home plate, and he drops this one to right, but right into the glove of KJ Brady. Looked for a minute like it was going to land in there for a base hit, but it's swallowed up by the Bellingham right fielder. Regardless, one run across for Victoria, helped by an error and a pass ball, and it's now a one-run ball game once again in Victoria. 3-2 the score as we head to the 6th. You're watching HarbourCats Baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com. Well, we have arrived at inning number 6 here in Victoria. This frame brought to you by Alex Burns and Associates Island Investing, made easy at VictoriaRealEstate.com. It's a 3-2 contest. The visiting Bellingham Bells in search of a sweep of the hometown Victoria HarbourCats, and they are up 3-2 into this 6th frame on a Saturday afternoon, a sunny, hot day at the ballpark, and Victoria trying to reel in this series finale, and they've stayed close with their West Division counterparts as Andrew Reichenbach will lead off this frame. The Bellingham catcher takes the first pitch for a strike. He's 0 for 2, a couple of Ks so far in this game, and the second offering misses as we even things up at 1-1. And still on the mound for Victoria, the right-handed starter, Henry Omana. He's given up 5 hits, a couple of home runs through 5 innings of work. Fortunately for the HarbourCats, they were both solo shots. 2-1 now the count to Reichenbach. It's Reichenbach followed by Kuit and McGrath here in the 6th inning, and this one popped up. That'll drift into the grandstand, send a couple of kids scrambling for the ball. What are the odds of that? It hit the top of the chain link fence in foul territory and then was caught by a fan. And she's going to hand that off to a kid. That's good ballpark etiquette. And the 2-2 pitch to Reichenbach at home plate. Ground ball to the second baseman. Charging onto it is Andrzejczyk, and he'll flip to first for out number 1. Good spirits here at the ballpark, and why not? The way the HarbourCats have been playing over the last 3 weeks or so. 9-2 in this latest hot stretch, and really those 2 losses have been by 1 run each against this very good Bellingham team. So hard to complain with the way Victoria's been playing it all here in the month of July. 1 away in the frame, and Kuit will step in. The second baseman had a single in his last plate appearance, but put with it a strikeout, and is 1-2. And with a 1-0 count at home plate, Omana, who has given up a little bit today but has limited the damage to his credit, will register a strike on this latest pitch, and it's 1-1 to Kuit. Kuit, a product of Huntington Beach, California, going to Stanford University. And the 1-1 pitch he sees is a nice breaking ball for strike 2. That one dropped right into the top of the strike zone and froze the Bell's second baseman. Not much he could do with that. And he's fallen behind in this at bat. And here comes the 1-2 pitch to home plate. This one hit well into left center field. Falling back for it is AJ Alcantara. His first catch of the game is out number 2 here in the 6th inning. The fly ball to center. And retired is Kuit to bring up Patrick McGrath. We've got another look at the West Coast League out-of-town scoreboard coming up, albeit we don't have much new to report. This is the only matinee game on a very busy Saturday in the schedule, the final Saturday before the All-Star break, with the Mid-Season Classic coming up Monday night in Bellingham. This one hit hard down the left field line. Will it drop fair? It will not. As on his horse rounding first on that latest swing was Patrick McGrath. That would have been an easy double. But it hooked 5 or 6 feet foul right down near the outfield fence on a frozen rope off the bat of McGrath, who did have a single in his last plate appearance. The third baseman for Bellingham making good contact with the ball this afternoon. On the year altogether, it's a .212 batting average for McGrath. 14 hits, 1 double. And he was a few feet off of another one there as he takes a called strike 2 and quickly falls behind Henry Omana, who has really seemed to get stronger as this game wears along. Had some troubles early, but has really settled into this appearance. Misses low for a ball, and the count goes to 1-2. And he's 1 strike away from posting a 1-2-3 6th inning against Bellingham. Here's the 4th pitch to home plate. That's a check swing. Blocked down. No called strike on the check swing as Chet Mass confers with the first base umpire, and they agree. No called strike there. Omana on the year came into this game with a .294 ERA in 18 innings pitched. In his 2 starts and 6 appearances, this is start number 3 and appearance number 7 on the year. Another foul ball from McGrath. Now 26 strikeouts in 24 innings for Henry Omana. He's been efficient when he puts runners in tough situations. The 2-2 pitch low, and it's ball 3 as he goes in search of another strikeout, this time against Patrick McGrath. McGrath just hoping for something to bring Lou Della Fera to the batter's box. He stands and looks from the on-deck circle, but first it's a full count pitch here in the 6th inning. That one's outside, and After a couple strikes, it's 4 straight balls to grant the free pass to McGrath, and he takes the walk down to first base. So De La Fera steps in, a couple of strikeouts to his name already, and we mentioned that contest here in the ballpark. If he strikes out again here, somebody's winning $500 to the keg, so I'm sure the K chants are poised and ready. Healthy lead off of first base for McGrath as De La Fera awaits his first pitch. This one grounded first base side, out of the reach of the first baseman Gretler, and a diving Anderchuk can't reel it in either. Jumping on the opportunity and rounding to third is Patrick McGrath. And there's a base hit for De La Fera. So the first hit of the 6th inning gives runners on the corners for Bellingham, and again the visitors threatening. They've had a 2-run lead once in this ball game at 3-1, and now they're looking for a 4-2 advantage over the HarbourCats, with McGrath taking the opportunity to advance to third. And a healthy crowd of 1,829 here in Victoria, hoping that Henry O'Mana can lock things down here in the 6th inning and keep it a 1-run game, but he's up against KJ Brady, the 9th batter in the lineup for Bellingham. First pitch he sees, fly ball fading away, and on the run, making the catch, Alcantara. A great play on a tough ball that was slicing away from the center field position, but Alcantara makes the catch nonetheless. And that retires the side in the 6th, 2 stranded for the Bellingham Bells. It remains 3-2, and the HarbourCats are up. When we return, you're watching HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com.
All right, fans, I'm down here with Bill. It's time for the Upper Deck Sports Lab.
What's that? Yeah, I would think so. Just a hit.
For Bellingham, Channing Nesbitt will take over on the mound in relief of Regan Todd. And the Bells starter goes 5 innings, giving up 4 hits with 4 strikeouts and a couple of walks. And, of course, 2 runs against these HarbourCats. And Nesbitt will step to the mound to take over responsibility with a 1-run lead to his name here in the 6th inning. And the first batter he will face for Victoria is the man who recorded the last out in the top of this inning, A.J. Alcantara, with a nice running catch in center field. First pitch he sees high for ball number 1. Alcantara, a fly out to right, a fly out to center. And the right-handed batter now taking aim at the left field position perhaps, as the second pitch he sees from the new pitcher shows bunt, takes a strike, and it moves to 1-1. So we'll see if the fresh arm on the mound can protect this 1-run lead for the visiting Bellingham Bells. Due up in this inning for Victoria, Alcantara, Paulshak, and Prees, number 3, 4, and 5 in the order. The heart of the hitting order for the HarbourCats. Fouled back, and now 1 and 2 at home plate against Alcantara. Nesbitt this season, 8 appearances, 15 in the third innings. With an ERA of 3.52, he's been an effective reliever for this Bells squad. Has the lefty, in the 1-2 pitch he goes home with here is a swing and a miss, a dropped third strike, and Reichenbach will fire down to first to complete out number 1, retiring AJ Alcantara. So Alcantara down on strikes, and Ben Paulshak will step in. He's been the most efficient hitter in the game. He's 2 for 2, a single, a run scored, and a double. We'll introduce you a little bit more to Channing Nesbitt here. He's out of Oakland, California, a University of Washington sophomore. 6'1", 197 pounds, and played just 1 game, although it was a brief appearance for Washington last year. 1 inning pitched, left with an 18 ERA. Ball 1 offered to Paulshak with 1 away here in the bottom half of inning number 6. The second offering, Paulshak will watch, miss just wide for ball number 2. And we'll see if the Victoria left fielder can spark some more offense with the HarbourCats trailing by a run. 4 hits on the afternoon for the home team. And the 2 offering is now 3-0. As again, another missed pitch from Channing Nesbitt on the mound. See if Nesbitt can reel in the fourth pitch here, or will he grant the free pass to the Victoria batter? With Jake Prees watching, that one is a called strike, so 3-1 now the count with 1 away. And you never know when this new pitcher comes in and how it will affect the chemistry of the game. If it's an opportunity for Victoria to strike and generate some offense, or is it an opportunity for the Bells to continue a strong defensive performance? Well, there's ball number 4 to Paulshak. He'll take the free pass down to first, and that'll bring Jake Prees to the dish. And more movement now in the Bellingham bullpen. In fact, the warm-up has been continuing pretty much since this inning started, and that's Spencer Howard up and throwing. A right-handed pitcher out of Templeton, California. Getting loose for the Bells, but back to the action at hand. Prees steps into the batter's box. He is 0 for 1, a walk and a fly out to right field, and the first pitch from Nesbitt is a beautiful breaking ball for strike 1. Prees from San Juan Capistrano, California. And it's been a solid year for him at home plate as well for these HarbourCats, and he's got a great opportunity here to stretch out another strong start to this inning from his teammates. This one off the end of his bat and foul, counted as a strike as the count moves to 0-2. Prees hitting .250 with 7 runs batted in, 12 hits in 48 appearances, and another 11 scored for Greg Merritt and this HarbourCats team. Taking a couple of strides off of first base is Paulshak as the count stays at 0-2, and the new pitcher, Channing Nesbitt, looking for the second out in this 6th inning. Swing and a miss, and he's got it. 2 strikeouts for Channing Nesbitt since stepping onto the mound, and 2 strikeouts and a walk in between. Nothing wrong with that in relief as Michael Gretler steps into the batter's box now for Victoria. So Gretler takes a look around at the situation, takes some signs, and with 2 away, we'll see how willing Victoria is to force the issue. I would wager you'll see a bit of conservation here, but here's a stolen base attempt, and dead on arrival is Paulshak, but the ball is dropped by the second baseman, Jesse Kuit. Out by an absolute mile was Ben Paulshak. but the ball was dropped by Kuit up at second base, and that negates the caught stealing on an excellent throw from Andrew Reichenbach behind the plate. So here's a crack in the window for Victoria. We'll see if they rule it an error on the second baseman or a stolen base. And Nesbitt goes home. Check swing, he went around regardless, and that'll be strike one, moving the count to 1-1 against Gretler. They are going to rule that an error, I believe, on the second baseman. So that'll be the second error of the game, I believe, charged against the Bellingham Bells. Pitch to home plate, blown away, and I'll stand corrected. First error of the game, the other ball was lost in the sun in left field and ruled a hit. So 1-2 now, the count at home to Gretler, with Paulshuk parked at second base after advancing on the E4. And here's the 1-2 offering with 2 away in the 6th. High chopper over the pitcher's head. This is a tough ball for the shortstop, Rich Shears. He can't handle it. And that should be an infield single for Gretler. So the base hit after a good battle from the Victoria first baseman. That also advances Paulshuk over to third. And runners on the corners with 2 away. And the HarbourCats have done a nice job manufacturing something out of this inning, despite a couple of strikeouts against the new pitcher, Channing Nesbitt. So Reichenbach, the Bellingham catcher, steps out from behind home plate to deliver some signals to his infield. And Scott Jarvis digs in. 2 groundouts in this game. He's 0 for 2. A couple of hits to the second baseman, that one that ended the 4th and the other one that was the second out back in the second inning. But now he's got runners on either side of the infield trying to equalize this game for Victoria. First pitch he sees is ball number 1. If Jarvis can continue things, Nick Meyer stands on deck, but for now it's number 5 in the batter's box for Victoria. Set for the second pitch he'll see from Nesbitt. That is a called strike, and it's 1-1. That will bring Reichenbach out from behind the mound for a quick chat with Nesbitt, who's in his first inning here, and strikeouts have been his modus operandi for 2 away here in the 6th. It's Paulshuk at third, Gretler at first. Paulshuk reached on a walk, advanced to second on an error, on a what should have been a caught stealing, and then over to third on an infield base hit. 1-1 pitch to home plate, outside. Good eye from Scott Jarvis to lay off that as the count now moves to 2 balls, 1 strike. And ready in the bullpen if required is Spencer Howard, as he's finished his warm-up and watches on from left field. Healthy lead over at first for Gretler, and the 2-1 pitch is a called strike. A groan from the crowd here in Victoria, and the count now 2-2. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, and stepping back for a moment to collect himself is Scott Jarvis. And can he win another battle? There's been a few battles between batter and pitcher in this game already. 2-2 pitch, breaking ball, not good enough. 3-2. And now the crowd upset the other way, it appears. Had a lack of a punch-out call there. Perhaps a few Bellingham fans making the trip for this weekend 3-game set, the finale this afternoon. Full count pitch to home, pops straight up, but who is going to call it? In comes the first baseman, Chris Beal, and he makes the grab to end inning number 6. Gets a fist pump from his pitcher, Channing Nesbitt. 2 runners left on for Victoria. It remains 3-2 Bells as we head to the 7th. You're watching HarbourCats Baseball on Sean Television and HarbourCats.com.
I got you.
Hey, I see quick back on the field here with the heart as always. And of course, that's we make things happen out there. We got Peter Justice, Steve and Matt, and the business guy. Put your heads down, boys. It's time to go. On your marks, get set, spin.
7 at Sports Traders Diamond at Royal Athletic Park. My name is Mike Walker, filling in for Jay Longprey this afternoon in Game 3 of a 3-game set between Bellingham and Victoria. Thanks for joining us on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com. And a new pitcher on the mound for Victoria to start this 7th frame is Henry Omana, done after 6 innings with 5 strikeouts, 3 walks, 6 hits and 3 runs against, and a 3-2 Bellingham lead. Into the game is Josh Walker out of Chino Hills, California, the Grand Canyon University prospect, with his first pitch to home plate, and it is a called strike number 1 against Dustin Brashears for an 0-1 count. Brashears, a home run in this game, a solo shot back in the 3rd inning. Otherwise, he is 1 for 3 with a couple of groundouts. A slow roller and the hard charging is the third base, and Lambert guns to first, but not in time. An infield single from Brashears. That was a tough ball, just 5 or 6 feet to the right of the pitching. And it was a long way for Brashears, or rather from Lambert to get there, and that allowed Brashears to advance up to first base. And unfortunately, Josh Walker on the hook for a single in his first batter faced here in the 7th inning. So Brashears sets up over at first as the visitors try and extend what is now a 3-2 lead here in the 7th inning, brought to you by Wilson's Transportation, locally owned and operated since 1962 with over 90 vehicles to rent. First offering to home plate from Walker to now Aaron Struzma is inside for ball 1, and Struzma hit a home run as well in this game. He's got 2 runs scored, reached on a walk and cashed in the 1st inning, then had a solo bomb out to left in the 5th, and is 1 for 2 in this contest. A pickoff attempt and a hard throw from the new pitcher Walker over to first base, and Gretler doesn't apply the tag as Brashears slides back in time. 1 ball, no strikes to Struzma, another pickoff attempt, and again, Brashears is pretty much back at the bag before the ball is out of the pitcher's hand. He's got a very conservative lead over at first. And a 1-0 count on the way here as Walker will again take a peek over his left shoulder at the runner and will again try a pickoff move. We could be here a while if this is going to continue, as they look back and forth in a bit of a battle here. Walker comes into this game with a 2.90 ERA through 21 2/3 innings. But he is second in this HarbourCats lineup with 25 strikeouts. The only player right now with more is Austin Dondonville, who has 27 Ks so far on the season. 1-1 the count after a foul ball off the bat of Struzma, and this so far 2-pitch at bat has taken about 4 minutes. Another conservative lead from Brashears at first. Another long look from Walker on the mound as the right-hander set for another pitch to home plate, and another pickoff comes instead. And at this point, you wonder if the pickoff throw is even worth it, because it doesn't appear that there's a steal coming from the runner at first. It's not a big lead, and it's a risky throw over to first every time we see it. We watched Regan Todd learn that lesson in the 5th inning, allowing the HarbourCats to score a run. This pitch to home plate, low and away, ball 2. And it's a 2-1 count with that runner on first. Struzma up now, Beal due up 3rd in this inning, and then Bronson Larson, if we get that far, is set to bat after that. 2-1 count again. Struzma waits another pitch. This time he grounds it to 3rd. Chance for a double play. The relay to second base, and on for 2 is not in time. And we'll let the crowd speak for themselves. It was a long way to go. 5-4 over to 3, and Andrechuk turned the ball well at second base, but couldn't come up with a double play, and Greg Merritt's out to have a conversation with the first base umpire, Steve Boutang. Remember, Merritt got the boot last night, kicked out of the game. He'll be a little more conservative this time around, and the HarbourCats will settle for the force out at second base. And that means we've got one away here in the top half of the 7th inning, and advancing on the fielder's choice is Struzma. It was close. It would have been a beautiful double play, but not quite for the home team. So Beal steps in, the first baseman for Bellingham so far today. A walk, a double, and a fly out to left, and a swing and a miss on the first pitch he sees from Josh Walker for strike one. Beal is a native of Phoenix, Arizona, and built like an athlete, 6'1", 200 pounds, and attending his backyard, Arizona State, now a senior. 0-1 pitch, runner breaks for second. They anticipated the steal and executed to perfection. Who needs the double play when you get a caught stealing instead? And Zach Bonneau was ready for it the whole way as he flips up to Jarvis and busted on his way to second base is Struzma. And there are two away here in the inning. Some good defense and a nice job from Victoria to shake off not getting the double play call and rebounding with a pickoff instead. That ball in the dirt, and the count now moves to 2-1 to Chris Beal, and the threat pretty much neutralized here as the Bells were pressing to extend this 3-2 lead, but they got to start from scratch with now two away in the top half of the 7th inning. The 7th inning stretch just around the corner, and then we're going to give you another rundown of the upcoming West Coast League out-of-town scoreboard games. Pop-up left field side on his run is Paulchuk diving attempt, and he couldn't quite get there. Oh, he missed that by about a foot. It was close as he had to come a long way, all the way into the Bellingham bullpen. And looked like he caught his cleats on something attempting the dive. He sort of stopped short of the ball. It didn't slide really at all. It's like diving into a sand pit. He just kind of stopped dead. Couldn't make the play and will wander his way back over to left field with now a 2-2 count back at home plate. So Beal steps in again, trying to extend the top half of this frame for Bellingham, and the pitch from Walker, swing and a miss. That is a strikeout, and we are going to the stretch in Victoria. It's 3-2 in favor of the Bellingham Bells. You're watching HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com.
Everyone get on out, stretch it out, and say, take me over tomorrow.
To the bottom half of inning number 7 at Sports Traders Diamond at Royal Athletic Park here in Victoria. My name is Mike Walker. Thanks for tuning in this afternoon on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com. We've got another gem between the Bells and the HarbourCats. 3-2 is the score heading to the bottom of 7. And no surprise, it's a one-run game. It was 7-6 on Thursday in favor of Bellingham, 6-5 on Friday in favor of the Bells, and now it's 3-2. Once again, the visitors in command, but the HarbourCats hoping to change that here in the 7th, with Channing Nesbitt back on the mound for the Bells to start this frame. He'll face Nick Meyer, Zach Bonneau, and Chase Lambert, 8, 9, and 1 in the Victoria order, and Meyer takes the first pitch. The designated hitter watches ball number 1 outside, and we'll see the second offering from the lefty is fouled off for 1-1. Time now to take a peek at the West Coast League Out of Town scoreboard, brought to you by Sports Traders. Swing into savings with new disc golf products at Sports Traders on Discovery Street in Victoria. First, we'll get to the 1-1 pitch to home plate as Nick Meyer awaits in the batter's box and takes ball 2. A full schedule tonight at 6:35. Wenatchee will take on Kelowna. Kitsap is up against the Medford Rogues at 6:35. Then at 7 o'clock, Corvallis is in Yakima Valley, and Bend will take on the Walla Walla Sweets. But the game that HarbourCats fans will be watching as ball 3 drifts across the plate to Nick Meyer is Cowlitz, the Black Bears, and the Klamath Falls Gems at 7 o'clock. Both those teams in direct contention with Victoria for the final West Coast League wildcard spot. HarbourCats come in 2 games back of that position. With the West Coast League All-Star break just around the corner, that is ball number 4 to Nick Meyer, and that there is your game-tying run here in the bottom of the 7th inning. On base, and that's the kind of start Victoria needs here, trying just to generate any base runners at all, and Meyer will do his job, and Zach Bonneau steps into the batter's box. 2 strikeouts in the game for Bonneau, the Victoria catcher, and you can pretty much guarantee he's going to be dropping down a bunt at some point in this at-bat. In fact, he already tried it once today and struck out on a 1-2 pitch. He shows bunt, watches it, sails by for ball number 1. And we'll see if this time Bonneau can come around, get the ball down, and advance Meyer into scoring position with the top of the order due up next for Victoria. 3-2 Bellingham. They have 7 hits on the day. The HarbourCats have 5. The runner breaks early, and he's going to cruise into second base. What a jump. And they're arguing it's a foul ball at home plate, but I don't know if they're going to get that call. As now Greg Merritt's coming out. They would have to send the runner back if it was a foul ball, but Bonneau's saying he didn't touch it. So Chet Mass, the home plate umpire, will have the conversation with Greg Merritt. Bonneau's arguing he didn't touch that ball. And now the umpires are going to have to confer because Meyer was 3/4 of the way to second base before the ball left the pitcher's hand. He got a wonderful jump, especially on a left-handed pitcher. So they're having a discussion to see whether or not this was a foul ball and whether or not the runner will have to return. And hard to see from our perspective whether or not there was contact there, bat to ball, but right away Nick Bonneau seemed rather incredulous, couldn't believe that this was even a question. So we'll see the ruling here, and it looks like the call is going to stand as Greg Merritt retreats. So foul ball and no stolen base for Nick Meyer, and he's never going to get a jump as good as that again. So things get a little more complicated for the base runner and for Zach Bonneau at home plate, and that will be a foul ball. So 1-1 is the count now, and a little bit of confusion is, again, the bullpen perks up for Bellingham, and back up and throwing is Spencer Howard. He was ready to go in the 6th inning, but now he may see action here in the 7th. No runner breaks. Bonneau shows bunt and pulls it back to take ball 2. And it's now 2-1. And we'll see if Meyer's going to try another early jump here, or if he's just going to wait for contact and accept the sacrifice. 2-1, runner does not go, bunt is fouled off, and it's 2-2, and now Bonneau is back in a familiar spot. It was 2-2 last time. He fouled off the pitch and struck out. Does he get a green light to swing away here, or does he get another opportunity to drop a bunt down? Can almost guarantee he'll be bunting all through next batting practice if he doesn't come around on this one. 2-2 pickoff attempt. More of a threat from Channing Nesbitt than anything. Just a little flip over to first. And stepping back over easily is Nick Meyer. He'll now take 3 strides off of first. 2-2 pitch. Runner goes and Meyer's caught. The throw to second. Is the tag there? Yes, it is. I don't know about that. And immediately out of the dugout is Greg Merritt. This will be his 3rd trip to the field in this game. And I thought Meyer got under that tag. That throw was well off the mark, and a very animated Greg Merritt is going to fill in third base umpire Sean Sullivan to what he saw. But Merritt, again, expresses his frustration and then quietly works his way back to the dugout. Does not get ejected, but the throw was well off the mark. And really, to be honest, if that was out at second base, what a wonderful tag from Dustin Brashears to get his arm back over and lay it down on Nick Meyer, who is caught stealing for out number 1. That pitch high, and it's now a 3-2 count at home plate to Zach Bonneau. As Meyer retired, caught stealing, so that's the 2nd time in this game a Victoria runner has been caught on the base path. 3-2 pitch to home plate. Bonneau swings and misses, and just like that, Victoria goes from a runner on and nobody out to 2 away here in this 7th inning. And for Nesbitt, that's his 3rd K of the ball game, and now an inning and 2/3 work. And we go back to the top of the order, and a bit of a hush here in the ballpark, and the crowd probably about as frustrated as Greg Merritt, the Victoria manager, at this point. Not getting the calls they were hoping to get, and there are 2 away. And now it's a matter of time for Victoria, down a run, but with 2 away in the 7th. That pitch well outside, glances off the catcher's glove, and Lambert will take ball 1 for a 1-0 count. Chase Lambert a double in the 3rd inning, but a ground out in the 1st, a strikeout in the 5th, and now a mound visit as pitching coach Jim Clem is back out to chat with Channing Nesbitt, and the action has stopped in the outfield, so I don't think Spencer Howard will come in here in the 7th inning. The latest development helped him out a little bit. With 2 away now in this frame, I believe it'll be Nesbitt's inning to finish off, and Chase Lambert hoping he can extend it. Lambert with Griffin Anderchuk standing on deck. And we'll see if the HarbourCats have a 2-out rally in them here. 1-0 pitch, watched, ball number 1. Has the count, rather 2-0 to Lambert, the Victoria 3rd baseman. The 3rd pitch you'll see from Nesbitt, hit hard into the left center field gap that drops next to Aaron Struzma and gets past him, advancing the runner to second base. We'll see if that's a double or if it's more likely a single with an error. And they're going to call it a hit all the way, so a 2-bagger for Chase Lambert. And maybe there is a 2-out rally here for Victoria. It's their best hitter stepping in the form of Griffin Anderchuk. Some gaudy numbers for him this year, .381 the batting average, and now we've got a mound visit, and this time it is the manager, Jeff James, out to have a chat, and he's going to bring in the entire infield. And we've got a new pitcher coming in. Spencer Howard will step out of the dugout and into this ball game. So Anderchuk, the best hitter Victoria has to offer, will have to deal with a fresh arm on the mound. As Howard, out of Templeton, California, and Cal Poly San Luis Obispo, will step into this one. And that gives us an opportunity to take a look at what's on tap for the HarbourCats, brought to you by Tally Ho Sports Bar and Grill. Sports for him, dancing for her. It is a perfect night out. And for the HarbourCats, well, they're going to be pretty comfortable with these Bellingham Bells over the next couple of weeks. They are taking an all-star break after today. That's Monday night in Bellingham, the all-star game, and Dominic Tabuzian from the Cats will be playing in that contest. And then after that, well, they might as well get comfortable in Bellingham. It's 3 more against these Bells. It's a tough portion of the schedule for Victoria as they try and make up some room on the wild card chase. They've got to find a way to beat Bellingham and continue to play consistent baseball, or they risk falling further and further behind in this West Division race. But after 3 with Bellingham, it's back here to Royal Athletic Park for a trio against the Walla Walla Sweets, July 24, 25, and 26. That's what's on tap for the Cats, brought to you by Tally Ho Sports Bar and Grill. So completing his warm-up on the mound is Spencer Howard, the right-handed pitcher. A sophomore at Cal Poly will take this game over in place of Channing Nesbitt. And as mentioned, he will face Griffin Anderchuk, with now a runner in scoring position up at second base after that latest double from Chase Lambert. And that runner at second is the game-tying run for Victoria. So first pitch from the right-handed Spencer Howard, called strike, and the count is 0-1 to Anderchuk. And does Anderchuk have a hit in him? He's been quiet today, 0 for 3, unlike him to be at this point in the ball game without providing an offensive spark. You could say he's due for something here. 0-1 pitch, high, and it's 1-1 at home plate. Anderchuk, who attends Seattle University, one of 2 Islanders in this Victoria lineup. Chris Faulkner, a Victoria native, and Anderchuk, who's from Nanaimo, BC. The 1-1 pitch he sees here, just outside, and it's now 2 balls, 1 strike. I've had a few opportunities to chat with Griffin over the years, and here's a guy who loves playing on Vancouver Island in the summer, representing what essentially is his hometown team. 2-1 the count. He's got a chance to help his hometown team tie the game right here in the bottom of the 7th. The latest pitch well outside, 3-1, right where Anderchuk wants to be. He now has an opportunity to wait and choose his pitch in an effort to cash Chase Lambert from second. If Anderchuk can extend this inning, AJ Alcantara is due up next, and both of them 0 for in this game, a combined 0 for 6 from the heart of the lineup. That's got to give if the HarbourCats want to change this game. There's a called strike against Anderchuk and make it 3-2 with 2 away in the 7th. And another apex moment in this game. An opportunity that the HarbourCats do not want to squander in the series finale. As Spencer Howard leads in on the mound for Bellingham, now he'll come set for a full count offering to Griffin Anderchuk, but not before Anderchuk calls timeout at the dish and takes an opportunity to step out of the batter's box and perhaps think this over for another moment. Runner at second will get moving in a moment as soon as the pitcher goes into his motion with a full count and 2 away in this frame, and that's a bit of a head start for home plate if Anderchuk can connect, but he pops it up right side on the run. Chris Beal, the first baseman, but it's about 3 rows back into the stands, and it remains 3-2. Anderchuk, don't think he thought he had much of a chance of that one, just put a bit of wood on the ball to stay alive in the batter's box and hope for something a little more attractive from the pitcher. Still a 3-2 ball game, and it's been a good one. 3-2 pitch to Anderchuk, swing and a miss. Howard gets his strikeout, and the HarbourCats strand another runner. We go to inning number 8, 3-2 Bellingham. From Sports Traders Diamond at Royal Athletic Park, you're watching HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television at HarbourCats.com. to inning number 8 here in Victoria. The Bellingham Bells with a 3-2 lead over the Victoria HarbourCats and looking for a little more offense here at Royal Athletic Park. Thanks for joining us on a Saturday afternoon for the third game of this 3-game set between these West Division rivals. My name's Mike Walker, in for Jay Longpre today. And back to the mound for Victoria is Josh Walker, as the first pitch he throws across the plate to Bronson Larson is ball number 1. Larson, a sacrifice fly for a run in the first inning, but he's been quiet since. A ground out and a strikeout, and now it's 1-1 at home plate on a popped up foul ball. And Walker, who was pretty efficient in the 7th inning, had a 1-2-3 frame despite giving up a single. Got a little defensive help with a caught stealing in there and held the Bells at bay as this one bounces in the dirt in front of the catcher, Zach Bonneau. And the count goes to 2-1. In this frame for Bellingham, it'll be Bronson Larson, Andrew Reichenbach, and then Jesse Kuit. 4, 5, and 6. These are the batters they want up in these late game scenarios. Called strike on a fastball, 2-2. And we've stuck with our one-run theme right throughout this series. Victoria just hoping to change one part of that trend and make it a one-run victory rather than a one-run deficit. But they're down 3-2 here in the 8th, and a called strike number 3 as Walker sits down Larson. His second K of the game. This time Larson gets caught looking, and there's one away in the top half of inning number 8. So striding into the batter's box is Reichenbach, who is the Bellingham catcher and also a West Coast League All-Star this year. Reichenbach will play for his hometown team on Monday at the annual All-Star game. First pitch he sees is ball number 1. Joining Reichenbach in Bellingham uniforms, Colomeni, Bronson Larson, Aaron Struzma, Brashears, Andrew Kemmer. 6 Bells playing in their hometown All-Star game, and well-deserved. They've been a powerhouse side this season in the West Coast League, coming in today 23-12 to lead the West Division. 1-1 the count. Reichenbach has been one of the more prolific hitters in the West Coast League this year. 23 hits this season, a .315 batting average coming into the game, and he takes ball number 2. But held quiet tonight. 2 strikeouts and a ground out. 0 for 3 is the big lefty. And now Josh Walker trying to figure out him for a 4th time today. That one fouled back, and the count now moves to 2-2. Bit of a size mismatch between 5'11" Josh Walker on the mound and 6'1" Andrew Reichenbach in the batter's box. This is a tall team across the board. The Bellingham Bells. Brian Way not playing today. One of their pitchers, 6'7", 270 pounds. It's not to mention Justin Courtney, another pitcher, 6'5", Hunter Haworth, 6'3", Cody Anderson, another pitcher, 6'6". Clearly their scouts are looking for big guys, and it's working for Bellingham. 2-2 the pitch to home plate, popped up left field side, and not giving an effort is Lambert, as that's way out of play, and the count will hold at 2-2. And specifically the pitching staff are all towers for the Bells, and that's what they say about pitchers with height. Get a bit of extra leverage, get a bit of extra speed on those pitches, then it makes you a more dangerous threat. This one drops in, but not for a strike, just missing the breaking ball punch out is Josh Walker, and it's full for Andrew Reichenbach, 3-2. Closing in on the 3rd hour of this ball game as Reichenbach takes a ball and trots down to first base. And there's a runner on for Bellingham. Not one that Josh Walker wanted to surrender, and that's going to spell the end of his afternoon as Greg Merritt trots out to the mound, and we've got some relief on the hill. Walker gets a pat from his teammates and a round of applause from the crowd here in Victoria. And we'll see who's stepping in relief here for the HarbourCats. Walker gives up the base runner, but really, at this stage, the Cats can't afford to give up much more. Down by 1, and taking over on the mound, it looks like Sean Kennedy. Fan favorite for the HarbourCats will step into this ball game.
Number 16, Sean Kennedy.
And will Sean Kennedy be able to lock down this 8th inning? He gets a lot of time for Greg Merritt on the mound and is a key part of this lineup. The San Dimas, California native who now attends Georgetown College, a junior at Georgetown College, where last year went 9-4 with a stunning 1.98 ERA. And he's, as mentioned, been a really important part of this Victoria pitching staff all season long. A 5.02 earned runs average, but he's racked up 28 innings in 13 appearances, 4 of them starts, where his record is 1-2. But just a workhorse kind of guy with 22 strikeouts this season. So the right-hander getting warm on the mound with now a runner at first. He'll face Jesse Hewitt due up next, the second baseman. And then possibly Patrick McGrath, who would follow for Bellingham. This 8th inning brought to you by Freedom 55 Financial. Freedom today, freedom tomorrow. It's advice that works for you. Freedom 55 Financial. And on his way into the batter's box is Hewitt, as Sean Kennedy taps in for Josh Walker here in the 8th inning, the 3rd pitcher of the game, and still a bit of movement in the Victoria bullpen. But Kennedy, before going home with a first pitch, does a bit of a checkup on Andrew Reichenbach, who now occupies first base after a free pass, a base on balls. 1 away here in the top of inning number 8. 7 hits for Bellingham, 6 for Victoria, and just a 1-run difference between the sides. In front of 1,800 plus here at Sports Traders Diamond at Royal Athletic Park. Most of them huddled in the shade on a hot, hot afternoon here in Victoria. It was forecast to hit 32 degrees at some point this weekend. Here's a base hit up the right side of the infield from Hewitt. Reichenbach is going to hold at second base, and Kennedy steps in and promptly gives up a base hit to Hewitt. So the situation gets a little more difficult for the home team now. And we'll see how the HarbourCats choose to handle this here, with really not much room to negotiate out of this, trailing by 1 with only 2 runs themselves through 7 innings of play. Runners at first and second, and now Patrick McGrath, a third baseman in. A walk, a single, and a flyout so far today. First pitch he sees is low and away for ball 1. On the other side of the argument is, does Bellingham push the issue a little bit here and attempt to steal with 1 away in this inning? How important to them is the 4th run? Pickoff attempt and busted at second. No, not caught at second base. A good attempt. Had me convinced that perhaps the runner would be baked at second base, but just back in time was Reichenbach, and now Greg Merritt expressing his displeasure from the Victoria dugout. He's been involved today. 3 trips out to chat with umpires after being ejected yesterday. And another close call where it sure looked like Kennedy had his man at second. That pitch doesn't connect, ball 2 in a 2-0 count. It's a tough job being an umpire, and it's even worse when you've got a coach unhappy with the way you're calling the game, and that's been the story for the Crew today. 2 balls, no strikes. 2 runners with healthy leads for Bellingham as Kennedy goes home. This one popped straight up. Will there be a play for the catcher? Unlikely not, as it fades off the top of the backstop and echoes throughout the press box as it rolls its way down. 2-1 the count at home, as McGrath will be followed by Lou Delafera, barring a Victoria double play. 2-1 the count, and a long stare from Sean Kennedy as he decides what to do with his catcher, Zach Bonneau. Here's the 2-1 pitch to home plate, fouled again, and now 2-2. Kennedy, a considerably slower, more deliberate pitcher than we've seen from Henry Omana and Josh Walker, the starters in this game. Really likes to take his time, decide on his pitch. And there may be another pickoff attempt brewing up at second base as the HarbourCats infielders fade ever closer. And now Patrick McGrath takes a moment to call timeout and adjust his footing. 2-2, 1 away. Top half of inning number 8, 3-2 Bellingham over Victoria. The latest pitch to home plate gets through the catcher off the foot of Bonneau, and both runners will advance on a pass ball. So Reichenbach up to third base, and now Hewitt to second. And what an opportunity here for Bellingham to restore their 2-run advantage and really make things difficult on the Victoria batters. And Kennedy's going to need to manufacture at least one of these outs himself if he wants to avoid a sac fly scenario. But he's got McGrath in a full count situation here, so the punch out is what the pitcher's looking for, and it's a liner into left center field, a single that will score a pair, and McGrath is looking for 2. He will slide in safe with a 2-run clutch double. The Bellingham third baseman scores a pair. Reichenbach and Kuwit come home, and that'll make it a 5-2 ball game on one big swing of the bat from McGrath as he picks up his second hit of the game, this time an extra base knock to score a pair. So 5-3 the score, or 5-2 I should say the score. And that ball, first offering to Lou Delafera, strike 1. So McGrath up to second base, and this isn't over here for the Bellingham Bells as they continue to roll with 1 away in this inning, and now another runner in scoring position. The 0-1 pitch low, and it's now 1 ball, 1 strike. And we'll see if Delafera, who had a single in his last plate appearance, can continue to roll. And as soon as the Cats can get out of this inning, then the onus shifts on to the batters, who will now need to manufacture 3 runs, and they'll have 6 out to try and do it. Called strike. And it's 1-2 to home plate. And Lou Delafera has a couple words for Chet Mass, asking the location of that pitch. And this is a similar scenario. It was a full count double from McGrath that scored a pair here in this inning. And now behind 1-2, Lou Delafera tries to come from behind for a hit, but watches ball number 2. KJ Brady is next. No movement in the Victoria bullpen. Greg Merritt is leaving this up to Sean Kennedy here to find a way out of. And now what is a 3-run ball game, the biggest lead of the afternoon for Bellingham. 2-2 pitch en route as the right-hander goes home. Delafera fouls it out of play, and it will stay at 2-2. And it's been a couple of nights of heartbreak for the Victoria HarbourCats, losing after an airtight ball game through 7 innings. It appears Bellingham has found a bit of light here in the 8th, and they've made things difficult. The first crooked number of the afternoon is a 2 here in the 8th for the Bells, and convinced they're not done, but there's a strikeout as De La Fera goes down. And we've mentioned it a couple of times, but that's the third strikeout for De La Fera, the 8th batter in the lineup, so somebody's going to win $500 to the cake here at the ballpark. Another one of the great promotions that you'll get all summer long here at Royal Athletic Park. Although time's running out to catch the HarbourCats in the regular season and their push for a playoff spot, so with the All-Star break just around the corner, there's about 2 or 3 weeks of baseball left here at Royal Athletic. Don't miss your opportunity to come catch a game. 2 away now, top half of the 8th. And KJ Brady steps in with still a runner at second base. That's Patrick McGrath after his 2-run double. But Brady's first pitch is a grounder to Griffin Anderchuk, and that will end the 8th, but not before the damage is done by Bellingham. A 2-run double to the wall from Patrick McGrath scores Andrew Reichenbach and Jesse Kuit, and it's a 5-2 Bellingham lead as we head to the bottom half of inning number 8. You're watching HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com.
It's 50-50 time. Speaking of giving out money, that's all we do here. It is a red ticket. It's for $466. Ticket number 47753667. Give me your phone number. $466. The red ticket 4775367. You have 5 minutes to take your product.
We are set for the bottom half of inning number 8. The HarbourCats give up 2 in the top half of the inning, and now the pressure is on to try and reel in the Bellingham Bells in the bottom half of this frame. 6 outs left for Victoria to try and equalize here in the series finale against their West Division rivals, and AJ Alcantara will lead things off. The first pitch he sees a called strike number 1 with Spencer Howard back on the mound for the visitors. It'll be the heart of the Victoria lineup, perhaps their best opportunity to equalize. AJ Alcantara followed by Ben Paulshuk and Jake Prees due up in this inning. 3, 4, and 5 for the home team, and the next pitch is ball 2, and it's a 2-0 count. And we'll see if Victoria can make some noise. And actually, apologies, it's not AJ Alcantara. We have a pinch hitter in for the Victoria HarbourCats. A swing and a miss there from Austin Gueber. Apologies again, Austin Gabor in for the HarbourCats. So Gabor now behind 1-2 in a pinch hit scenario to lead off this 8th inning. The fourth pitch he'll see, watches outside, 2-2. Gabor, who attends Fresno State, hitting .280 this season. And we'll see if he is perhaps the induction of offense that Victoria needs here. A 2-2 pitch to Gabor, the left-handed batter at home, inside ball 3, and he's worked himself a full count here with Ben Paulshuk due up next. So Paulshuk, and it appears Jake Prees still set to bat as scheduled, but Gabor is in for Alcantara, who is 0 for 3 in the game to this point. And the left-handed batter up against the right-handed pitching Howard. There's an advantage, but it is a swinging strikeout, and down is Gabor to lead off this inning. not the pinch hit he was hoping for. One away. So that brings Paul Schuck in, the left fielder for Victoria, who's had a productive game, a walk, a double, and a single. He's been the best hitter in the HarbourCats lineup this afternoon, and he's going to need to continue that. 2 for 2. And the right-handed batter will dig in. No one's been able to find much against Spencer Howard. He's given up a double, but that is about it since he took over in the 7th inning of play. And there's more movement in the bullpen. Riley Stordahl up and throwing for Bellingham as the first pitch to Paul Schuck, a strike and an 0-1 count. And it's a healthy crowd here on a Saturday, trying to urge their HarbourCats back to the win column after 9 in a row. They're now in danger of dropping 3 straight to Bellingham. And what's more, they've got 3 more against these Bells south of the border coming up after the All-Star break. 1-1 pitch. Paul Schuck watches it for ball 2. And it won't take much here. Victoria does have 6 hits in this game. They just need to get a couple of base runners and then begin manufacturing that offense. But it's been 2 innings without anything. A single run in the 2nd, 1 in the 5th, and that's all for the HarbourCats today as Paul Schuck watches ball 3 miss high. So he's got himself into a hitter's count at 3-1. But base runners is what Greg Merritt and this team need at this point. And the 3-1 pitch from Howard to home plate, swing and a miss from Paul Schuck, and that'll fill things up at 3-2. But a lot of full count pitches and a lot of good duels. So the HarbourCats willing to be a little bit patient with this Bellingham pitching and wait for their opportunity. 3-2 pitch. Check swing. Ball number 4. And there's the base runner Victoria needed. As Paul Schuck draws 6 pitches to earn his way down to first base. And now Greg Merritt, I believe, is going to pull a pinch hitter into this game. He's going to come chat things over with Chet Mass. And who's coming in? It looks like Reno Rankin will be the substitute batter here for Prees. And not afraid to switch things up a little bit. Greg Merritt with his 2nd pinch hitter of the ball game. And the crowd with a round of applause for the new batter. The left-handed swinging Rankin trying to continue this offense before the bullpen is prepared in left field. Has now up and really working hard. In left is Stordahl, the Olympia, Washington product. See if the Bells can get him into the game shortly. First pitch to Rankin, outside, ball number 1. Reno Rankin at LA Mission Junior College from West Hill, California. Didn't get any games this last year as a redshirt, but poised to enter that lineup this fall. Throw over to first, not in time, and back there is Paul Schuck. He's not taking too much of a lead over at first here as Victoria really, 1 run is of no consequence. They're going to need to come up with 3 here. Rankin fouls one off, and that'll even the count 1 ball, 1 strike. Rankin listed as 180 pounds and 6 feet tall. Looks like maybe a generous 6 feet for the left-handed batter. But right behind him is Michael Gretler, who's had a good game as well in the batter's box. If Rankin can extend this. For 3rd pitch he sees outside, and the count now 2-1, and control has become a little bit spotty here for Spencer Howard. A walk moments ago, and now falling behind Rankin. The HarbourCats will be patient, I'm sure. Timeout called at the home plate. An opportunity to remind you that this 8th inning of play brought to you by Freedom 55 Financial. Freedom today, freedom tomorrow. It's advice that works for you. 2-1 pitch on the way, but first a check over at first, and again Polchuk scampers back in time. Polchuk got a couple of opportunities to advance in his last trip to the base path. Tried to steal second and reached on an error in his last attempt. He won't go for a stolen base here, allowing Rankin to swing away and foul it back to 2-2. And this is maybe where we'll see another hit and run come into effect for Victoria. With one away in this frame, and Polchuk not too shy about trying to stretch for the extra base. Rankin takes a moment to compose himself and steps back into the batter's box with now a 2-2 count and one away in the bottom half of the 8th inning. Swing and a miss, and that is strike number 3. Rankin down on K. So the pinch hitters have not worked out for Greg Merritt. 2 strikeouts and 2 pinch hitters here in the 8th inning. And that will bring Gretler back to the batter's box, the Victoria first baseman. With 2 away in this 8th inning, and Victoria down to their final 4 outs here in the series finale. And if they can get through this inning and extend it perhaps, right now we're into the bottom half of the batting order and not exactly ideal for generating offense. Is that one a called strike on the first pitch to Gretler, as Howard's come up with a couple of clutch strikeouts here in relief. In fact, he has 4. 6-7 batters faced since entering the game. Howard a peer over his shoulder. The runner goes. This one fouled off, and it was sort of a stutter step from Polchuk. Pretty good fake steal, but he held up a third of the way down the base path on a foul ball anyway. And Gretler down in this at bat, 0-2. And that means Spencer Howard has an opportunity to sew up this 8th inning and send his closer into action here. With a 5-2 lead, runner fakes again. This is a ground ball to second base. Kuit eats it up, throws to first, and the HarbourCats stymied in inning number 8. It remains 5-2 Bellingham. You're watching HarbourCats baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com.
It's time for the 103
Top half of inning number 9 here in Victoria. Welcome back to Victoria HarbourCats Baseball. My name is Mike Walker, filling in for Jade Longprey this afternoon for the series finale between Bellingham and Victoria. And it's time for the Bells to look for a little more insurance, up 5-2 over the HarbourCats and hoping to extend their West Division lead into the All-Star break, which is a game they will host Monday night south of the border. And leading off this frame for the visitors is the top of the order, Dustin Brashears, a home run to his name already in this contest. In fact, he's 2 for 4 and is now facing a 1-1 count against the Victoria right-handed pitcher Sean Kennedy. This one blooped into right field and right at the Victoria right fielder Jake Prees with an easy catch for the first out here in the 9th inning. The one thing that may play in the favor of Victoria as we shift to the bottom of the ninth, if they can keep this a 3-run game, it is a new pitcher poised to come into this game, and it appears that we'll get a closing appearance from Riley Stordahl. He's got a sidearm delivery out there warming up in the bullpen, but you never know when you get a new pitcher in the game. You may find a spark, and so far Victoria's not had much of an answer for Spencer Howard, who has been the late reliever for the visitors today. So 0-1 pitch on the way to home plate with now Aaron Struzma into the batter's box, and that is another strike for now 0-2. The center fielder, a home run along with a walk, and he also reached on a fielder's choice, so 1 for 3 in the game. He takes the ball there to move to 1-2, and his home run, I think, was probably further than Dustin Brashear's. It was a towering drive. Brashear's was more of a streamlined hit. There's a strikeout, however, for Struzma as he couldn't hold up on the swing, and very quickly here, it's 2 away in the 9th inning. Sean Kennedy had a bit of trouble coming in relief, but starting this inning fresh has had no problem at all retiring some of the big bats in this Bellingham lineup, and Chris Beal will step in next. Potentially the last bat in this game for Bellingham, unless Victoria forces extras in the bottom half of this inning. First pitch to Beal outside, ball number 1. 1-0 count on the way to the left-handed batting Beal. He watches the second one for a 2-0 count. And it's been a good appearance for Sean Kennedy here in the 9th. It was not that in the 8th, and this one glances off of his glove and up the middle of the infield. That'll be a base hit for Beal, and he extends this 9th inning. It was trouble for Kennedy, however, in the 8th inning when he gave up a walk, a single, and then a 2-run double off the bat of Patrick McGrath, and really that's the outstanding difference in this game so far. So we'll see here if Kennedy can shake off that 2-out base hit from Beal with Bronson Larson in, the designated hitter, 0 for 3. Does have a sac fly RBI, but he's been quiet otherwise with a couple of strikeouts in his last 2 plate appearances. And the first one he sees, ball number 1. Couple of big steps off of first base from Beal after his base hit, and Larson watches the second pitch miss as well. And we'll see here at a 2-0 count if Larson has more offense in the tank for Bellingham. They've had key hits at key times, now 10 total on the day to account for their 5 runs to 2 for Victoria on their 6 hits. A called strike, 2 balls, 1 strike against Bronson Larson. Awaiting a 5th plate appearance is Andrew Reichenbach, if we get that far. But first, a 2-1 delivery to home plate. Larson, ground ball, will get past the first and second baseman, and there's back-to-back singles with 2 away here in the 9th inning. And up to second base goes Chris Beal on that base hit from Larson, so Reichenbach will get a 5th trip to home plate. He's got 2 singles in this game and is so far 2 for 4. And after 2 quick out to start the inning, here's a chance for Bellingham to really stretch something out on a bit of a late rally here in this ballgame. So both Bellingham runners will take a healthy lead. No real impotence to stretch this out and force anything across. I wouldn't expect any steals here with a 3-run lead. First pitch outside, Reichenbach, ball number 1. And Kennedy trying to just close out this frame without any more hits to an ERA. 1-0 pitch after a look at the runners. That one, a straight fastball across the plate for a called strike. And it's 1-1. And it's just a matter of Victoria trying to get out of this inning and back to the bats and hoping for some good luck against the new pitcher. Swing and a miss. Strike 2 as Reichenbach falls behind. Last time he faced Kennedy, it was a walk after a full count battle between the two. He was able to fight off a couple of pitches for foul balls and then make his way to first and later score on the double from McGrath. 1-2 pitch to home plate with 2 away in the 9th, ball number 2. And that evens things up at home plate. And it's been a crowd kept mostly quiet this afternoon, save for sparks of offense in the 2nd and 5th from Victoria, and a great defensive play in the top half of the 5th. This one, foul ball, left side, out of play. One of the light standards here in Victoria on the left field side has a huge osprey nest on it, and that foul ball came pretty close to sailing by one of the flying birds. 2-2 pitch set here, and again it's Kennedy trying to work his way out of the 9th inning. A laser into left field. This is going to score a run, and Bellingham's offense continues. A 3rd consecutive single, and home comes Struzma, or rather Beal. And that makes it 6-3, or 6-2 I should say, as the Bells add to 2 in the 8th with 1 here in the 9th inning. The runner holds at second, does Larson, after that RBI base hit off the bat of Reichenbach. And 3 straight singles and still no movement in the Victoria bullpen. This is for Sean Kennedy to get himself out of here late in this contest. Couette's gonna dig in. First pitch he sees, high fastball, 1-0 the count. So Reichenbach picks up another RBI. Patrick McGrath with a couple of RBIs in this game as well. Dustin Brashears with a good game for Bellingham. The offense has been spread out, a swing and a miss for a 1-1 count to Jesse Couette. He's got Reichenberg at first, Larson at second, and on deck McGrath. And the 1-1 count as Kennedy goes home again, this time high. And now it's in a situation where 4 runs is doable, but much more than that is going to be awfully difficult for Victoria to tie this game in the bottom half of the 9th inning. I mean, anything can happen here in the West Coast League, but minimizing the damage is the goal here now for Kennedy. Called strike, 2-2, is quickly to his feet. Zach Bonneau located the ball that snuck through his legs and prevented any runners from advancing. And it remains 2-2. And the Bells with a couple of 1-run victories in this series, now poised for a 4-run triumph in the finale, up 6-2 over Victoria. 2-2 pitch from Kennedy to home plate, fouled straight back. And that'll keep the count the same to Jesse Couette, who has 1 hit so far, rather 2 hits, a couple of singles, and a run scored. And warm and waiting to step out of the bullpen is Riley Stordahl as the closer, but you wonder, with now a 4-run lead, will we see him right away, or perhaps will there be another opportunity for the reliever Spencer Howard, a strikeout to end the 9th, and a frustrated Sean Kennedy makes his way off the mound. He gets the K to close out the inning, but gives up a bonus run for Bellingham. They lead 6-2, heading to the bottom of the 9. Stick with us. You're watching HarbourCats Baseball on Shaw Television at HarbourCats.com. Is it?
Her name is Grandma Dynamite. And I want you all to say hi to Grandma Dynamite. She doesn't miss a game, and she's here to fire up the boys with the bottom line. So we got to bring a couple lines here. What do you got to do?
Well, guys, this is Grandma Dynamite, and yesterday I told you I kicked your nuts. Well, today I want you to win for me! Please win for me! Come on, I love you dearly! I want to win!
And she's serious, so here we go, boys. Valentine's bottom line.
Community College and a native of Olympia, Washington, and he's got some heat on the fastball, throwing up to 89 miles an hour. Can touch it above 90 if need be, and we'll see what he brings to offer here in the bottom half of the ninth inning. Victoria looking for some offense. They've had just one hit since the fifth, which is when their last run came across. 2 runs today, and they've held the Bells to close games in every one of these series, every one of this series, losing by a run on Thursday, losing by a run last night, but now down by 4 in the Saturday afternoon matinee. My name is Mike Walker, filling in for Jay Longprey this afternoon. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see if the HarbourCats have a little fire in the belly yet, as Stordahl takes his position on the mound, and it's the bottom of the order to step to the plate. Scott Jarvis, Nick Meyer, Zach Bonneau. Worth noting that Reno Rankin and Austin Gabor came into the game as pinch hitters in the 8th. Both of them struck out. First pitch fouled straight back by Jarvis, and it looks like Victoria is going to go for the offense here, needing 4 runs to extend this game. And Stordahl's got some heat on the fastball, there's no question about it. First pitch, Jarvis a bit behind, and the second offering, another heater, this time misses low for a 1-1 count. It's not been a great day for Scott Jarvis. He's 0 for 3. 2 groundouts to the second baseman and a pop-up to the first baseman. And the 1-1 pitch inside for ball number 2. And the due-up batters, only one of them has a hit. Nick Myers 1 for 3. Zach Bonneau has really struggled today. 3 strikeouts. 2-1 count as Jarvis digs into the right side of the batter's box, and his 4th pitch, swing and a miss, and it's 2-2, and that's going to be the challenge for Victoria here, trying to catch up with Riley Stordahl, who's fresh out of the bullpen. 12 hits, the line score for Bellingham. 8 for Victoria, rather 6 for Victoria. Here's a grounder to the shortstop, a long throw to first, and a nice play from way back on the edge of the grass by Dustin Brashears, but he gets the out, and there's one away here in the bottom of the 9th inning. The 6-3 ground out brings Nick Meyer to the batter's box for Victoria. And after becoming the hottest team in the West Coast League to start this month of July, they have been cooled off with an exclamation point here by the Bellingham Bells, who are hoping to sweep this series at Royal Athletic Park. First pitch to Myers, strike 1. As mentioned a number of times throughout the show, the All-Star Game goes Monday in Bellingham, and then these teams will connect again for 3 straight. south of the border before Victoria returns home the weekend of the 24th, 25th, 26th for a 3-game set against the Walla Walla Sweets. 1 ball, 1 strike. 1 away here in the bottom of the 9th, and Meyer set for a 3rd offering from the mound. That one's way inside, 2-1. Riley Stordahl not in position for a save here, but in a position to close out a pretty solid game from his group. They've had the offense, they've had good pitching, they've worked their way out of jams, and this is a blooper down the right field line, but foul, and Meyer will have to return to home plate with a count at 2-2. Meyer to be followed by Zach Bonneau, unless we get a pinch hitter for the catcher, but down by 4 runs. We'll have to wait and see what the decision from Greg Merritt is. Merritt's had his concerns about the officiating again today after being ejected yesterday, but none of the plays really have been of consequence for Victoria. That one caught the batter, and this will be a hit by pitch as Meyer took that on the elbow and will advance down to first base. So runner on for Victoria. That's a step in the right direction here in the 9th inning, and now Bonneau will have to come up with something after a trio of strikeouts in this game. And if Bonneau can also get on base, then we're back to the top of the order with Chase Lambert and Griffin Andrechuk, and you never know. First pitch to Bonneau, called strike, and the count 0-1. And we'll see how choosy he is after a frustrating night at home plate. 0-1 pitch. Watches that for ball 1. Ball slightly rolls away from Andrew Reichenbach, the catcher, but not enough to allow Meyer to scamper up to second base. He'll stay parked over at first. And right now, Stordahl, the pitcher, paying little attention to that runner at first, just focusing on the batter at home, the only thing that matters at the moment with a 4-run gap in the score. 3-run the count. Meyer takes another step off first, called strike, and it's full for Zach Bonneau at home plate. A left-handed batter, hoping to come up clutch for the HarbourCats here late in the contest. Full counts, pitch, swing, and a miss, and that is 4 strikeouts this afternoon for Zach Bonneau. And he is out number 2 in the 9th inning. So down to the final straw for Victoria. Chase Lambert digs in. He has Nick Meyer standing at first. Meyer's now been hit by a pitch 3 straight games, every game of this series, and 5 times on the season overall. Unfortunately, his run doesn't mean much unless Victoria can come up with something special here with 2 away in the 9th inning. 6-2 Bellingham the score. First pitch, a breaking ball from Stordahl, misses wide, and Lambert watches ball 1. Stordahl will come set on the mound again. Another offering to Lambert, followed back. 1-1. Andrechuk awaits on deck, and we've been talking about Griffin Andrechuk as being a key hitter in this lineup, but really he hasn't contributed much tonight either. 0 for 4. Lambert, on the other hand, has a couple of doubles. He's been one of the best in red today. 1-1 pitch outside. That'll be ball 2. So 2-1 to Lambert, trying to extend this ball game as we hit the 3.5-hour mark of this series finale. It was 4 hours and 7 minutes last night. This one hit right back to the pitcher. Stordahl got out of the way of it barely, and there's a base hit for Lambert to wrap up a pretty good afternoon for him. As a 2-out single makes it a 3 for 4 day for Chase Lambert, or 3 for 5, I should say. And now Andrechuk steps in at 0 for 4. And if he can get on base, then all of a sudden the tying run steps to home plate for Victoria. But Andrechuk's got to come up with something first with 2 away here in the bottom of the 9th. 2 runners on. First pitch to Anderchuk, way outside. Reichenbach reels it in, ball 1. Myers at second base. Now Lambert at first. Lots of options for outs here for Bellingham, but a bit of potential still sitting on the table for the HarbourCats. 1-0 pitch to Anderchuk. Takes it for a called strike. Anderchuk will step out. No signs from the third base coach here. It's time for Griffin Anderchuk to come up with a hit to extend this game. It's not a small ball situation for the home team. 1-1 pitch on the way from Riley Stordahl. Anderchuk watches it miss high for ball 2. Some good patience at the dish and maybe a little bit of doubt creeping into the Bellingham pitcher's mind here. Healthy leads at first, second. As Stordahl looks down the pipe, Anderchuk steps into the batter's box again, and the right-handed swinger fouls it back to 2-2. Goes the count, and now the HarbourCats down to their final strike of the ballgame. 1,800 plus here in Victoria. Hoping for a little late game magic from the HarbourCats. They've already had a walk-off win in this hot streak this month. Can they dig up another here? 2-2 pitch to Anderchuk. Hit to the first base side. Knocked down on a beautiful play by the first baseman, Chris Beal. And that will end the ball game. A stellar performance from the Bellingham Bells as they complete the sweep in Victoria and slap the brakes on the HarbourCats hot streak. The Cats will head into the All-Star break at 17-19 on the season. Now 2.5 games back at the final wildcard spot, pending tonight's action. That could be 3. While the Bells continue to pace the West Division at 24-12. Let's take a quick look at the score and recap for this afternoon's affair. It was offense early for the Bells as they got a sacrifice fly for a 1-0 lead off the bat of Bronson Larson in the first inning. Victoria responded, however, with a walk turned into a wild pitch, turned into a 1-1 game in the bottom of the second. But then top of the third, the second batter was Dustin Brashears, and he hit a long home run to left field to restore the Bellingham advantage. Then it was more big ball offense from the Bells as Aaron Strusma hit a home run of his own in the 5th inning to make it a 3-1 game. The HarbourCats quickly responded, capitalizing on an error for a run of their own in the bottom of the 5th. But that would be it for the Victoria offense in this one. The play of the game, without doubt, came off the bat of Patrick McGrath with runners at first and second in the 8th inning, a 2-run double. Then the Bells had one more in the 9th to cap the scoring. 6-2 is the final. The Bells get 6 runs on 12 hits with a couple of errors. The HarbourCats played error-free baseball but just couldn't generate the offense when they needed it. 7 hits, 2 runs as they drop their 3rd consecutive game. We are now into the All-Star break here in the West Coast League. And the HarbourCats still in the hunt for a playoff spot, but they've got some work to do. Their next regular season action will follow Monday's All-Star game down south of the border in Bellingham. 3 more against these Bells before the Cats return home to face the Walla Walla Sweets the weekend of July 25th. That's it for this Saturday afternoon game here in Victoria. Thank you for joining us. For the entire crew here at the ballpark, working the cameras, and Chris Jaycox leading things in the production studio, my name is Mike Walker. You've been watching HarbourCats Baseball on Shaw Television and HarbourCats.com.